Who were they really linked to outside of the guys they got? Brooke Lopez?
But they could have traded for James Harden. That's not going to happen now because they don't have the cap.
God, they didn't. If
They
they
don't have
did,
the
I would
cap
put them on the
space.
losers if they traded for James Harden.
They won't have the cap space. Obviously, Jaylen Brown was a name that they were heavily linked to.
Again, it was, you don't know what.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying now they put themselves in a position where they can't trade for those guys.
They chose to go to the young route. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast.
Before we get started, please like the video, and for daily sports content, hit that subscribe button. As always, comment down below your opinions because we got some stuff to talk about again.
Yeah, not as much as last time, but also we are on audio platforms. Can't talk right now. So make sure you guys, if you guys can't watch the video, make sure you guys listen to it on any audio platform you listen to, and give it a 5-star rating if you enjoy it. Also want to thank you guys for the support of the last episode, 2 hours long, hour 59, 2 hours long. The response from that video in terms of the views and stuff was higher than we thought we were going to get. And we would like to thank you guys for that as well. But as Jobin mentioned, some small news again today. Shouldn't be a 2 hour long unless we just ramble and argue. But so let's just start with the NBA because there was some big news today, relatively. So let's just get into the new signings first. Let's just start off with today's first news. Grant Williams is on a sign and trade with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, it was like a 3-team deal, right? With the Dallas Mavericks, Boston Celtics, and the San Antonio Spurs, I believe.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull up the trade here. So, yeah, this is like one of those teams that I said should go after Grant Williams, and they actually listened. And, foreshadowing a little bit, we're going to go to our winners and losers. You guys will find out then if I chose Dallas to be a winner, but this is on the right trajectory because, they re-signed Kyrie Irving, they brought in Seth Curry, but there was no defense still, and Grant Williams provides the defense, and he also could hit the corner shot usually.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pickup for sure. Definitely adds to what they're doing, just trying to get some perimeter shooting for Luka and Kyrie to do their work. And then, obviously, they're not the best defenders, so Grant Williams would help with that for sure.
Yeah, so Grant Williams, he was a restricted free agent, will sign a 4-year, $53 million contract. He kind of wanted out from the Celtics last year because he wanted more of a payday. He got it, though, which is at the perfect spot. As a part of a sign-in trade, the San Antonio Spurs will reportedly receive Reggie Bullock, so nothing crazy, and the right to swap picks with Dallas in 2030. So still like 7 years to go.
Yeah.
As part of the deal, meanwhile, the Celtics and Mavericks will each acquire 2 second-round selections, according to Woj from ESPN. So that was the first bit of news here. And, Dallas is addressing that defense. I love what they have done so far. And they also, not official signing yet, but they also put out gave a contract to another RFA, which I thought
Who was it? Was it Thibault?
Yeah, Matisse Thibault, who I said at the beginning before free agency even started, that I said that he should be targeted by Dallas. I don't know why I can't talk right now, but he should be targeted by Dallas for obvious reasons, right? Thibault cannot hit that shot, but guess what? You have Seth Curry. You got all three and no D on that side. Pause. And then all D and no 3 on this side. Pause again. But yeah, so that would be a perfect fit. Like I said, you get that. He's a lockdown. Like Matisse Thibault was I think really good for the Sixers when it came to defense.
Oh, yeah, because it was just tough for him to play because he couldn't create any offense for himself, or if anyone does create offense for him, he couldn't knock down a shot or anything. But
he could still at least hit him on occasion, which is still good. He ain't no Ben Simmons. No shot. I didn't mean to throw a shot at him, but he at least takes the shot, right? And he doesn't hit it on occasion.
I mean, you're not throwing a shot at Ben Simmons. You're saying what's true.
True.
Then Thibault's definitely gonna help that defense for sure. There's no way. And I don't really think the Sixers are gonna match, right? Do you think the Sixers will match? Because Thibault.
No, it's the Blazers.
Oh, it's the Blazers, yeah.
I mean, he got traded last year at the deadline, yeah. So it's the Blazers, and they have 2 days to match it. So he already signed it. It's the same deal as Gabe Vincent. I think it was 3 years, $33 million.
Yeah.
So they have 2 days, and we already know what the situation with the Blazers, which we'll slightly get into with the update on that situation. But for me, I hope Dallas just hopes that they get him because they get that defense and they'll have an actual lockdown because they did lose Dorian Finney-Smith, right? And they go from there. And this team has definitely been looking a lot better.
Yeah, man, they made some moves at the draft. They got Kyrie Irving back. They've been doing everything they can to like make their team better, and obviously don't have the disappointing result like they did in the past season where they
Yeah.
failed to make the play-in spot.
So let's get into some other news. July 3, that was Monday?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
Monday.
Monday.
So obviously we didn't record. We recorded Sunday night. So Malik Beasley, that's a good contract by the Bucks. He signed with the Bucks, 1 year, 2.7 million. Of course, when he leaves the Lakers, he'll probably learn how to shoot again, which always happens. So that's a good pickup. Spacing for Giannis. Malik Beasley was one of the leading 3-point shooting percentages last year before the Lakers trade. He struggled in the playoffs with shooting. Bucks also reunited the Lopez brothers.
Yeah,
Robin
but
Lopez is back. Bulls signed Torrey Craig to a 2-year contract, which is I think a key loss for the Suns.
it is a key loss for the Suns
But
for sure.
we'll get into the Suns a little bit later. Celtics signed your boy Canadian Delano Banton to a 2-year contract.
Yeah,
Clippers re-signed Plumlee, huge. Needed a backup big there,
yeah.
and another max extension for a rookie extension.
It was Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards has signed for a 5-year, 260 mil, so the LaMelo money essentially.
It's gonna happen.
And Magic have waived Bol as well. So
Bol was the Wembanyama before Wembanyama.
exactly, he was
Right?
the original dude.
Bol never got a chance.
Yeah, injuries obviously derailed him. He didn't get the opportunity with the Nuggets. You thought he would have gotten that opportunity with the Magic. Some their teams are gonna be linked to him, right? You can't that talent is still there, and obviously I saw a report today that the Lakers are linked to him, which I'm perfectly fine with because we still need a backup big. But teams that like the Rockets should take a chance on him. I mean, they have Alperen Sengun, but still, seven, whatever, he has 7-1 center. So
I mean, he has demigod build.
yeah,
He could shoot. He could defend, obviously rim protect. He could also like play make a little bit. So it sucks because like he was drafted like 44 in the second round, and he was like
he was sitting in the green room for the
yeah,
whole time because he was projected to be a top pick,
top pick, yeah.
but it was because the injury in Oregon that screwed him over. But moving on, Mo Bamba signed with the Sixers. So another former Lakers center has gone to the Sixers. I saw the picture today. I was like, what the hell? DeAndre Jordan, Montrezl Harrell, Andrew Bynum. All these guys were like former Lakers who went to the Sixers right after. But I'm happy for Bamba. Let's see if he gets the opportunity there. They needed a backup big. Let's move on to the Dame Lillard stuff quickly before we get into our winners and losers overall and maybe our best. I'll quickly check the best available / rumors because we do have a big rumor involving your team. But Dame Lillard situation, it's Miami or bust for Dame, and teams reportedly don't want to trade for Dame because of that, because they don't want a disgruntled superstar on their team. I don't know if Dame's that type of dude to be, demanding shit like that, but that type of person. There's 5 teams apparently, according to Mark Spears from ESPN, that are willing to do a 3-team trade. The Blazers do not want Tyler Hero at all, so that's why their team is required.
I'm a little bit surprised by that too. Don't you?
I am too, but I guess they have a backcourt of Scoot, and Anthony Simons, and then obviously Shaden Sharp is the part of that trio. So do you want to clutter in another person? I don't know. But Tyler Hero has that potential. Maybe they feel like Tyler Hero will net more stuff because like a team like Brooklyn who has like win now players.
Yeah, Tyler Hero should
that will complement there.
Tyler Hero should get them assets.
So Brooklyn and Spurs are the 2 big ones. Obviously, there's other teams that are involved. So there's that situation. The other, do you want to pull up Sport Tech to see what's available for agents?
Yeah.
While we talk about this, the other big rumor today was Pascal Siakam has been heating up in the market. So obviously, since we last talked, that's when the news popped up.
Yeah.
And you went on your rant. And today and yesterday, at the time of this recording, there were more reports that the Hawks and the Raptors are working on something. But the problem is, again, Masai is being stingy, and deal is falling apart. Obviously, I'm not saying you should not get Pascal Siakam. You want to get what he's worth, but I feel like the Raptors, and I'm looking from the outside in, are overvaluing their assets way too much. Same thing with the OG stuff. They had a chance at 3 first, never did it. Fred, Kyle, you have that history. We don't need to revisit that history.
Yeah, no, but what is the package for Pascal? Because Pascal should bring like a much bigger return compared to everyone.
It's
anyone
probably
else
going to
we
be
had.
centered around DeJounte Murray because he's on the last year of his contract. And another guard for you guys, but he's also 6'5". You got to remember that.
Yeah.
Probably DeAndre Hunter because they're trying to offload him. So that's like, and then you could move OG because I'm not saying DeAndre Hunter is OG right now, but he has the potential
So
being the 3 and D guy, right?
no, that seems definitely.
That should be the centered two pieces and throw in picks.
You
Obviously,
gotta throw in picks for sure.
Yeah.
Because Pascal Siakam has been the guy again in Toronto these
Yeah.
last 2 years, right? Compared to Fred, compared to what he was in 2019.
Yeah,
I
mean
think
he struggled.
He's been better.
He struggled in the bubble, obviously, and then he struggled at the beginning of the next year,
What do you
right?
mean? No, the Tampa year he struggled all year.
Oh, yeah, sorry, the Tampa year he struggled all the
And
years,
it's
then,
like
and then he was
understandably.
injured the next year. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
you're right.
understandably. He was injured at the beginning of last year, and then came back. Obviously, took like 5-10 games, and
Yeah.
absolutely started popping off again. Shows because
Yeah.
All NBA player
again-
this year he had another All NBA season. Could have made it, should have
It's a
made it.
risk.
I don't know. You don't know about that, and they also made the playoffs, right? So he's been balling out these last 2 seasons. So there's no. I don't put any fault on Siakam. Even in the playoffs, he's been in the series against the Sixers. He's been one of the guys that was actually like pretty decent, like playing up to standard a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't hurt for that when Scotty and Fred both got hurt, but the Hawks side of things is kind of weird because they gave up a bunch of picks for DeJounte Murray, right? How much do you value? How much better is Pascal Siakam than DeJounte Murray in your eyes? Not just based on last year, just general as a player.
Siakam is a better player. He's grown
Like a
to be
tier
a better
above, though,
player.
right? Not like I'm not saying same tier, maybe
He's
like
a-
half a
he-
tier or a tier above.
He's a tier above, maybe tier and a half max, I would say.
Yeah,
Just because Siakam is more experienced, he's also his game developed. Obviously, his shot was a little bit better. Like I'm not saying his finishing is good. Obviously, that's his
Yeah.
main thing, right? Getting to the rack. But then his shot from the outside and the mid range, like he has a nice dribble move, mid range jumper
yeah,
type thing, right? It's not like he's a catch and shoot. Like he's trying to create his own shot, and he's been
Yeah.
doing better at that.
This is honestly like the Hawks for me disappointed last year because of the DeJounte move, right? And like in my opinion, there should have been like that top 6 seed for sure, like that 6th spot instead of the Knicks, for example. And Brooklyn obviously fell off. Like I'm not gonna count Brooklyn because they just had a weird year. But for me, like I said, you're on team rebuild. This makes sense. You should. He's at the highest value. Capitalize on it, right? Because at the end of the day, as good as much as his praises you said of him, he's not gonna win you a championship as the number 1 option. We all know that,
Yeah.
right? Even with that Kawhi year, he
He did as a number 2.
did as a number 2, but he emerged then, and now he's a better version of that, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm dumb, go after it. You're not getting AJ Griffin, that's for sure. You're not getting any other Onyeka or anyone like that, but it's probably gonna be centered around. It won't be Capella now because you guys obviously got Pirtle locked
Yeah,
up,
there's no putting in Capella.
but you'll have DeJounte Murray most likely. Then you guys maybe you guys flip him. Maybe it'll be a 3-team trade, right? Because teams like the Clippers. Well, actually, no, they got Russell Westbrook back, but like the Celtics, DeJounte Murray would be a perfect fit there.
Yeah.
Right. So,
obviously, as me, I wouldn't want to flip into the Celtics.
well, I know, but I'm
But
saying
like,
like a point guard heavy team that needs it.
Maybe like a Pelicans.
Because you would have to convince DeJounte Murray to stay, right?
Yeah.
In order for that trade to work.
Maybe
But,
I would say maybe like a Pelicans.
yeah.
Right. What else? Do you think Timberwolves? Nah, Timberwolves have Conley, right?
Yeah, no, it would be the
It'll
Pelicans.
be more Pelicans, yeah.
For sure. Like that was a team. But let's move on. Before you move on to that, another name that popped up is Donovan Mitchell. Not for this year because his contract's running up in 2 years. So he's not in the Pascal situation. Pascal's up for an extension, I believe. But if the Cavs do not do well next year, let's just say that the exact same fate happens, they will be looking to offload Donovan Mitchell. Because Donovan Mitchell wanted New York, right? It was kind of like Damian Lillard situation, like get me to New York, but they ended up trading him to the Cavs. It worked out for him, but he did not have a great playoffs as we're accustomed to seeing Donovan Mitchell have. And if he doesn't want to re-sign, well, you might have to flip him, right? So Donovan Mitchell is another name to watch out for, which is kind of surprising, but because the season he had, like he was All NBA first, I believe,
Yeah, he was good
or
this year.
second, one of them. But he was All NBA and he deservedly so.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it's just different environment, right? Like your playoffs, like you're playing with a playoff team that hasn't really been in the playoffs, where it's Jazz. There was some experience around you as well.
Yeah,
So like on your team this year, you were the most experienced player.
yeah,
So it was a little bit probably different role for him. But yeah, next year they should be better. It'll be disappointing if they repeat this result again.
yeah. Another team, Dejounte could be flipped to his Brooklyn as well. But let's move on. You have some lists of names.
There's nothing really to say much. You got like Will Barton, Christian Wood available, Kelly Oubre.
Christian Wood's the big one though.
Yeah, Christian
He's the
Wood.
biggest one, and the teams I saw linked were Lakers, maybe the Suns, and someone because he might just sign a 1 year cheap prove it deal, right? And a team like the Suns get a hand on him. Oh my god, that team is gonna get scarier.
Yeah. There's Bamba resigned, so
Yeah.
Saric,
Yeah, so nothing.
Amadou Diallo,
So the best
Kendrick Nunn, Ish Schmidt,
best player is what?
Romeo
His
Langford,
best player is Christian Wood then.
Terrence Davis.
So the best player is Christian Wood.
Yeah, unless you consider Kevin Knox the absolute god of the remaining free agency.
Okay, so
Bismack Bianco could be a good backup big for someone.
that's for us. We need one.
There's also Taj Gibson, who's obviously old. Austin Rivers, TJ Warren's also a free agent. Montrezl Harrell, and then yeah,
All right,
Aaron Holiday
okay,
could
I
be
think
one too, right?
you were telling me to stop last time. It's time to stop now.
Yeah, it's time to stop. Like Tristan Thompson.
Yeah. Okay, so Christian Wood is the,
There's
for
really
free agency is
is-
just
yeah.
Christian Wood watch, and then the Dame Lillard / James Harden potential trade watch. So
Yeah, they're genuinely not like legit anyone now.
yeah, same. Like yeah, it was the
Everyone-
NBA free agency is great because you get the what you call it, the trade, the salary and stuff helps with the trade. Where we'll get into the NHL afterwards, like the also snooze fest. But let's move on to winners and losers.
All right, let's go.
You want me to name a winner first or loser first? How do you want to do it?
Let's go off with the winners first.
All right, let's go. My first winner, I'm gonna go with the Dallas Mavericks because since we already talked about it a little bit. Amazing draft, offloaded Davis Bertans' contract, replaced him with Rashawn Holmes, who's a much better fit, right? You got Derek Lively in the draft, needed a rim protector, and like I said, you add Seth Curry, so you get more shooting around Kyrie and Luka. You're gonna have a motivated Luka as well, right? Because no one wants to hear it. Because Kyrie had the more wins, not Luka, when they played together.
Yeah.
When Luka was out, Kyrie carried a little bit more. And now with the rumored Matisse Thybulle move, perfect fit. And on top of that, you have Grant Williams.
Yeah, no, that's like they did whatever they can to adjust your need and get better at the same time. It's not like they added in a bunch of
Oh, and they brought in Kyrie Irving.
it's not like they added in a bunch of like like poor players that like
Exactly.
do one thing, right? Like some of these guys could do multiple things. Like Seth Curry could still like create his own shot. He's not straight catch and shoot, right?
Yeah, but he's gonna be probably obviously primarily used as that.
Yeah, obviously, but I'm just saying like there's a secondary aspect to these players. Like Grant Williams, defense obviously, with the corner three. Matisse Thybulle is probably obviously straight defense, and then Rashawn Holmes could finish at the rim and also protect the rim.
They also brought Dwight Powell back on a cheap contract, 3 years, 12 mil, so that's 4 million.
And also, yeah, the one thing that's like we're overlooking right here is the depth that they now have.
yeah,
With every like the big position, the wing position, right? So like they did a good job.
they still
with that.
have Tim Hardaway Jr. They still have like those pieces, right? Maxi Kleber.
Yeah, so then even if like Kyrie and Luka, obviously, realistically, they're not going to be off at the same time.
Yeah.
But if there ever is a time like where one of them's not playing, and then Kyrie's not playing and Luka's on the bench right now,
Yeah,
like Seth Curry could handle the ball, right?
a little bit. I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah, no, but like they have some players.
I'm
that,
sure they're gonna stagger Kyrie and Luka. That
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like say one's injured.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like Seth,
I would still prefer like get another proper ball handler, but yeah, Seth Curry.
like they have someone who could do a job.
Yeah.
A little bit.
for now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna go with a winner?
Winner, I'm gonna go with the LA Lakers. I mean,
I mean, they're
I'm
on my
just
list.
like, there's the fact that you got D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, and Austin Reeves all back was a dub in my books. You obviously replaced Dennis Schroeder with a good player in Gabe Vincent, who will provide you a little bit more of offense. Maybe
More
lack
shooting for sure.
maybe lack a little bit defense. obviously, because
But we
Schroeder's
get
there.
the added shooting.
But you still get the added shooting around a LeBron whose shooting is not great himself. And then Anthony Davis's shooting is very inconsistent. And his offense is very inconsistent. So that's a good guard rotation there. And then Rui Hachimura emerged in the playoffs. Had a really good playoffs himself. So the fact that you got him back as well, that's good.
Torian Prince.
And then Torian Prince.
Replace Troy Brown.
Torian Prince is like what, 3-and-D?
3-and-D, corner 3 specialist.
Yeah, and then who else you got?
Let me just pull it up here. We re-signed Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, Game Vincent, Torian, Cam Reddish, and Jackson
And you got
Hayes.
Cam Reddish and Jackson Hayes.
So those are like Phil Handy projects, essentially.
They're like, yeah, if they could refine their potential in college, right? That's gonna be absolutely amazing for you guys. If they do like Malik Monk did, that's like absolute
And
W
Lonnie
for
Walker,
guys.
yeah.
And
No, I agree. The Lakers are winners. Obviously, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, they're my team." I'm not gonna be like that guy, either overhyping them or underhyping them. I do believe they arguably won free agency. The problem I still have is the backup big, and still lack of scoring in terms of shot creation, right? It's only D'Angelo Russell at the moment. Gabe Vincent has shown flashes, but I wouldn't really call it.
Reeves could do it.
And so here's my question with Reeves. He had a breakout year. Is he gonna bring it back? Right now, people know who Austin Reeves is properly, and I know he had moments in the bubble, the playoffs that were insane. Right, like he carried the fourth quarter. Same thing with Rui Hachimura. Is he gonna? The question is, are they gonna bring it back? And if they do, barring any injuries, we should be back in the conference
There's
finals.
no reason for them not to bring it back because they're in the exact same situation as they were.
Yeah,
where
but you know how like people fall off.
Yeah, I know people
randomly.
fall off, but like there is no reason to fall off.
They got their contracts, right? A lot of people.
Yeah, I know people fall off other contracts. I've said it many times that like they usually struggle in the first one.
Yeah.
But in this situation, there's no elevated role for you. You're coming back to exact same thing what you were doing last year.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to fall off, and it's a big disappointment if they do, in my opinion.
All right. Losers. Let's go with that one now.
All right, number 1, Houston Rockets.
You put them. Okay, I did.
They're a
not,
loser.
I didn't
No.
think I didn't think they were a loser.
They're a loser.
I did not
Bro,
think they were a loser.
I
You're
don't-
probably the only one
if
I think
you're-
that thinks they're a loser.
if-
I'll be dead honest with you.
If you're putting Dylan Brooks $20 million a year, I can't consider you a winner. And reason why I'm saying this, like, okay, there was that little salary cap thing they had to meet, right?
Yeah.
Did they meet it with Fred?
I don't know, but
With the
here's
Fred contract? But
okay. I'll
no.
let you finish your point because I'm gonna give you the
I
counterpoints
know.
of why other people are making that. They're saying that they're not a winner, but they shouldn't be a loser. But I'll give you the point. Go ahead.
I don't know. For me, like, the names that you were linked to, you didn't really get, right? And now you put yourself in a position with getting these 2 contracts.
I disagree with that. Who were they really linked to outside of the guys they got? Brooke Lopez.
But they could have traded for James Harden. That's
Well,
not going
that
to
was-
happen now because they don't have the cap.
God, they didn't. If
They
they,
don't have
did,
the
I would have
cap
put them on the
space.
losers if they traded for James Harden.
They won't have the cap space. Obviously, Jaylen Brown was a name that they were heavily linked to.
Again, it was you don't know what.
Yeah, no, but
those
I'm saying
guys
now they
want.
put themselves in a position where they can't trade
They
for
chose
those
to
guys.
go to the run. They chose to go to the young route.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm just saying, like if Jaylen Brown was available, I'm pretty sure they would want to
He
get him,
wasn't
especially with
available,
Ime Udoka. But like there could be a chance he could be available during out the season or the end of next season.
Okay, so
So then now they kind of handcuff
is
themselves.
your main
in the
issue the
future
Dylan Brooks contract, or is it also Fred?
Both of them, they're
Okay,
massive
so
overpays.
here's the counterpoint I want to make, and I'm not saying basing my opinion on other people, but I'm also listening to what they're saying to see if I'm not wrong. You're the Houston Rockets. You ain't doing shit. You need to pay people. The only the agreement I have with you about the Dylan Brooks contract is the 4 years. I thought it should have been 2 years. I don't care about the $20 million because they clearly, the reason why I don't put them in the losers, they chose their route. They decided not to break up the young core, which I'm glad they didn't, to go get old James Harden now.
Okay,
It's
doesn't
not gonna
have-
be
okay,
it's
doesn't have
not
to be
the
James
original
Harden.
James Harden from the Rockets.
Yeah, no, but like here's my thing. There's 2-year contract and a 3-year contract and a 4-year contract, right? If one of these guys take a step forward, and like the young guys, right? In 2 years, like how these Thunder players are taking a step forward, and they're like, okay, they could easily package something, and get a big name guy, right? They can't do that in the next 2 years now.
Well, here's the thing. It's the NBA. Contracts could easily get moved. That's not the NHL. Number 2, I understand the Dylan Brooks antics, but you cannot deny his defense.
And I'm not saying the antics. I'm just saying they can't add anyone in those 2 years if they
Well, here's
really
the
want
thing.
to.
Fred-
Because like sooner or later, Jalen Green's gonna get a max extension if he's pans out. Jabari Smith Jr. obviously Eamon Thompson's going to have some time.
I still see your point, but here's the thing. The reason why I'm disagreeing with you is because they chose their direction. They're going to get slightly better with these guys because they need to show them some winning culture. Say what you want about Dylan Brooks. He's been second place in his team for the last 2 years. Plus, he was an all-defensive player, I believe he was. Right? Fred, same, provides that defense. There's a reason why Ime Udoka went after these guys. Brook Lopez is supposedly supposed to sign there, except he snaked them and said he used them for more money, essentially. That's why they had to go after like a Dylan Brooks. And I personally don't mind it because they're not going to be great. They're not going to be a play-in team. This helps the young core in that sense. The only thing I agree with you is I don't agree with a 4-year term. And on top of that, you brought in Jeff Green for a year. You brought in Jock Landale for 4 years as their center. So I just don't see them as a loser for that reason. Simple.
Yeah,
If they were a team that was really heavily like, I'm going to heavily get James Harden, which was never the case. Those are blown out of proportion rumors. Jaylen Brown was blown out of proportion rumors because the Celtics are willing to offer
my
him
thing
the
is
max.
like how you said, there's people can be available like you said
Yeah, but that...
like Donovan Mitchell maybe, or
But does
depending
Donovan
on,
Mitchell
no, but I'm saying like
realistically
it doesn't.
wanna go
Who knows? We don't know that. Like this could be a team.
I literally said
they
he
could
wants
have
New
been-
York.
Yeah, no, but they could have been a team that like could make that
But
move,
here's
but
my
they
here's my question
they
to you.
handcuffed themselves because of these contracts because now they don't have that much money that they used to have.
Hypothetical situation. Let's say they take the Thunder jump. Let's just say one of those young guys...
I mean,
Alperen
these
Sengun-
guys could take
Wait,
that jump.
Wait. Let me finish. Let's say Alperen Sengun takes the Shea jump. You add in Donovan Mitchell somehow. Is that team a championship contender?
I mean, I would expect Jalen Green to be better than I would expect.
You would
The other guy-
expect. So it's big hypotheticals. The reason why they brought Fred in for that much money, there's a reason why they paid him the extra $10 million that Toronto wasn't going to give him. Because they wanted a winner in there for 3 years
So then
to show.
okay, so you paid Fred, right? Then why would you give that to Dylan Brooks?
Defense. Add more defense. They have 0 guys there.
Yeah, no, but like you didn't have to give that much.
You don't have to give. No, I
risk that
don't
much.
care about the $20 million because they weren't gonna do shit anyways. I disagree with the 4 million.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot.
That's the only thing.
That's part of the contract.
It's
I
Houston.
just-
That's why I didn't care for it. That's why I
I
disagree
know
with you.
for me
there.
because the fact that you got both of them now, my point is that like you kind of handcuff yourself to get that star that you could have
But
got.
they're not. I'm gonna be real with you. They're not getting a star, whether they're available or not.
I know, but like there's a chance that Houston could be a destination in 2 years. Could it not be?
Are you realistic? How much Houston did you watch realistically?
I didn't watch Houston, but I know that they have some young guys.
Yeah,
When they play the
but
Raptors,
they were
they showed a
willing to
game to
trade away
Raptors.
Jalen Green because they were like, we don't know if he's gonna be star. Stop playing with your mic, man.
Bro, man, I'm getting mad because right, that's why.
You're playing with your mic. I'm here.
Bro, I'm trying to talk, then you start talking, then I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
I'm just saying to you that that's the case. They're not gonna. They went this young route and they wanted 3 vets that were in the winning experience to come in and they paid them. So be it. They project that they're not going to be good in a couple of years anyways. By the time that comes up, sure, 2-3 years for Dylan Brooks is fine for me. I don't care about the $20 million because they were not going to go anywhere. Is my point to you.
No, whatever, man. Like I don't like the move because I felt like they could have made a big jump potentially in these next 2 years, and I feel like now they handcuff themselves. That's why.
Yeah,
All right, go to the next one. What's your loser?
I feel like they don't want that. They anticipate that they're not going to have the next jump. That's why they gave these guys the money.
But with the squad they have, I think they can.
Okay, we'll see. I can't wait for the preseason predictions. But
I'm not saying year 1. I'm just saying like in 2 3.
2 years, Fred's going to be off the books. And that last year, Dylan Brooks could get moved. Especially if Dylan Brooks could revive himself.
Dylan Brooks would get moved for $20 million a year. For
He
like
could
at
revive
least-
himself. The cap
at
could
least-
go up.
At least 2-year contract. I ain't doing that trade at all for a man that's supposed to be.
The cap could go
For a
up.
man where Memphis is like, oh, go get out of here because we ain't bringing you back.
Okay, but if he rebuilds himself back up, a team will pay for him.
Who knows? I don't
That's
know.
my point. You can't just say because
That's also if too. Then you're putting.
so that's exactly my point. That's what they bet on. Dylan Brooks is betting on himself. He got a bag, and he's trying to bet.
So you want a guy who does all these locker room antics as a guy to
Guess what?
lead
You
on?
have Ime Udoka there, and you have Jeff Green there.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
sure
guess
he'll
what,
be
yeah.
better in that, and I'm hoping he learns from it.
Are you hoping?
There's
That's-
if.
you're
Listen,
hoping.
everything's gonna get judged in hindsight. We all know this, right? I respect your decision opinion there because I've heard some people say for you. I just disagree with it because they're the Houston Rockets, and I don't think they're gonna take that massive of a jump.
Oh
Anyways.
yeah, who's your loser?
I'm gonna package these two together: the Raptors and the Bulls. And the reason is, what the hell is your direction?
Bro,
Because I'm not obviously you're tired of speaking the Raptors, so I'll say my piece. If you're trading Pascal Siakam, like your argument for Dylan Brooks is my argument for Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, I
I
said that
understand
too
he's a
last
great.
pod.
I'm just saying for me, like I'm saying your
Yeah.
argument for Dylan Brooks is my argument for Jakob Poeltl, especially if you trade Siakam away. That should have been a 2-year plus an option on top of that maybe for the third year. But same thing, if Poeltl balls out, does his role perfectly, like kind of like Zubac is, he could easily be moved, in my opinion as well. If he doesn't, then you have a 20 million cap there.
The only thing I could argue with that is just like I agree with you, but Pirtle is better than Dylan Brooks.
Okay. From the Bulls side of things, there were rumors that Levine might get moved, might not get moved. You brought back Vucevic. You have DeMar left on, I think, 1 more year left on this contract. There might like Ayodasumo go, who's linked to the Raptors. So again, they're nowhere near. Lonzo's out for the year again. That was your big key defensive guy, along with Alex Caruso. So I don't know. I just think they're both the teams are right now directionless, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Winner. I'm
not going with team. I'm gonna go with player.
We're gonna go Fred VanVleet.
Well, yeah, obviously Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks are definitely winners, but another person, Damian Lillard, finally got the balls to ask for a trade. So I'm proud of you and getting out of it. For a franchise that then never really gave you anything and helped you. So the fact that you're out, that you could go to Miami Heat supposedly could be a huge thing.
Okay, so my winner, I'm gonna go with the Suns.
Oh yeah, Suns are definitely a winner.
So obviously, big move with Beal, puts them in a 3 status. But the moves they made after were the part that were gonna make them be a contender. Adding Eric Gordon for 2 years, $6.5 million is big for me, right? You still retain DeAndre Ayton. You could still package him if you want. Like you could ship him out if you want. Right now, it looks like they're not. You know, Drew Eubanks had a decent year with the Blazers. Damian Lee still there shooting the ball, right? I don't think KWHD played much. Utah Watanabe, huge addition.
Yeah, that's a big addition.
You saw knowing from the Raptors, defense 3-point improved massively last year with the Nets. Josh Okogie played really well with them, fit well with that KD starting lineup. And obviously, Shemezi Metu, I think it was a rotational piece somewhere else before. So I think they're a winner. I feel like this team is like the Lakers. They have their 2-3 studs. They put the team around them. Now the question is, are you going to fit Frank Vogel's system defensively, right? And they added some defensive pieces, like I said, in Eric Gordon, Utah Watanabe, Josh Okogie. Is Booker going to take that next level defensively a little bit? I'm not saying he's going to be some all NBA.
He doesn't have to be
guy,
next level, like,
but do what he did in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
right.
Do what he did in the playoffs.
I think he's an underrated ball handler, right? So I know they don't have a traditional point guard. Maybe they try to get one, but I still believe he's an underrated ball in his hand type of guy. So that's my winner. Loser, I'll go with the Blazers because you mentioned Damian Lillard. Now that he requested a trade, you should have traded him 2 years ago. In my opinion, I understand he's a money maker.
I don't.
But the Jeremy Grant contract now doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, yeah.
That's my reason.
That's
my big reason. You give him 5 years and max, essentially 1 night.
Yeah, it's the
third highest. 32.
It's the same reason for like the Pirtle and Siakam. If you traded with Siakam, what the hell is the point of signing Pirtle to that, right?
Yeah. So
and then Jeremy Grant was like Damian Lillard's best player.
Yeah. Now Jeremy Grant's your best player unless like Scoot Henderson goes off as a rookie, right?
But then you could also argue the fact that like now Damian Lillard is traded, it's not really gonna affect you too much either.
But I think Jeremy. Did they want to? Is it Jeremy Grant the same role as Dylan Brooks? Then I agree with you that sense.
Yeah, it's probably like
but
that.
But I just think that because Damian Lillard wasn't a requested trade, there was no point bringing back Jeremy Grant. Whereas Dylan Brooks they brought him in for a reason. That's the difference, in my opinion. But you could argue the same. I know you can, but we'll just leave it at that. By the way, if you guys, for the Rockets take, comment down below. What do you guys think? Or do you think that it was a stupid decision paying these guys? Do you agree that they had to spend the money anyways?
Yeah, my point is like,
as well.
You spent the money on one. I just didn't feel like you. I feel like you could have been fine with one. You didn't need to get both. That's where I'm like.
Okay. Yeah,
going high.
that's why I still didn't put him a loser because I'm like they're the Rockets. That's the only reason. But I'm gonna go. You have a loser? Another one?
Not
I have one more
really,
loser,
right?
which is a surprise loser, but I'll explain why.
Honestly, I can't even think of
I
any
have one more winner.
on top of that. How many do you have, bro? I don't even have
I
that
have
many.
4 each.
All right, yeah, go say yours. I don't have
All
any
right,
more
I'm gonna
losers.
go winner. Indiana Pacers.
Okay, yeah, they locked up Halliburton. They got Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown on a good deal because yes, it's 20 million a year, but it's a team option on the second year.
Yeah,
So if he doesn't perform, you could just let him go. If you then on top of that, you made that Obi Toppin trade. I love it, right? You have depth, young depth there. Miles Turner is still there, and he was killing it for them last year. You have him locked up for another couple of years. You could even move him, but I wouldn't. Like I would rather keep Miles Turner than DeAndre Ayton at this point because you still have that presence. Market here, there'll be a top 8 seed in the East, so they'll be. I think they'll finish 7th or 8th, and hopefully make the playoffs. But I don't think they'll be like 9-10 looking in like
I'm
they were
gonna
this
say
year.
this much: Tyrese Halliburton is gonna be the best point guard in the Eastern Conference.
Who the hell? Who was else in the East?
No one. That's why. Really, there's not like Milwaukee, Drew Holiday.
I would
Yeah,
still put Drew Holiday.
I'm saying
slightly.
perform. I'm not saying he's the best right now, but I'm saying he'll have
Oh,
the
like you by the end of this year, you'll say
by the
Tyrese?
end of the year.
Oh,
Like
so
he's
you're
gonna have,
projecting him to be like an All
he's-
NBA type player next year.
like he's gonna put together a year where he's gonna be the best point guard in the East. And
in the East. Indiana has Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday. No one in Boston. Philly has James Harden, Darius Garland,
no, I think he could put together a better year than Darius
Jalen Brunson,
Yeah, I'm legit saying
Trey Young.
everyone.
Trey Young.
Everyone.
How much do you believe?
Everyone. I legit think he
Do
could
you,
put
I'm just
together.
naming you players that went
Yeah,
in
no,
case you
I
forgot
know.
some.
I remember all of them. I thought about this before, before recording.
A hot take there though.
I think he could put
That's just
together
like,
a year
'cause
where
Trey Young's on a revenge tour himself, right? In my
Yeah.
opinion. But hey, no, that helps my take because I'm saying that they might project their way to a 6 seed at the minimum at the max. I
if he
think
plays,
6 seed could be their ceiling if
he-
they don't make any more
yeah,
moves.
if he plays like how Abdiki will play, he could.
On
they
top
could-
of
I don't
that,
think I don't think 60, but 7, 8 for
you
sure.
know they have the 3 best players in transition: Tyrese Halliburton, Bruce Brown, Obi Toppin.
Yeah, that's insane.
The most efficient on the fast break. So,
Yeah. All right. So who's your last team?
but yeah, like that's my Pacers take. Book it here, clip it, come back. You could laugh in my face, or you could be like, "Oh my god, he was onto something." All right. Here's my loser, and you know what? This is a little hot take. This is a hot take only because of what the teams outside of this team have done. Denver Nuggets.
Why?
You lose Bruce Brown, you lose Jeff Green. Those are literally 2 of your 3 guys off the bench that played. Okay. They do well with like Christian Brown. They obviously with whoever they picked this year, they could obviously emerge. So I'm putting this in a loosely. They're a loser because they didn't replace anyone, right? Let me just double check in case because I have shout out Legion Hoops because you guys put a list together on like the NHL. Like they brought back Reggie Jackson. How much? Like okay, DeAndre Jordan. Okay.
Yeah, that's just to fill out the roster.
And then Justin Holiday, is he really going to be Bruce Brown? So those are just roster fillers. Can they step up? Sure. Like they have a system, they have it going. And then on the team, like the Suns got way better. The Lakers got way better, right? The Thunder might emerge. You got, Dallas, who missed the playoffs completely. I'm not saying Denver's missing the playoffs or anything like that. I'm just saying they're a loser because other teams around them just got better, way better than they did, and they lost some pieces.
yeah, I mean, it just for me, it's just a Bruce Brown piece.
It was a big
It was
loss.
obviously a big piece because I was the Bruce Brown fan and during their playoff run. Yeah, it's very loose. They can't really say too much. They're just a team in the mid. Like they were expected to lose. It's not like
Yeah.
it's a different story if they were expected to resign and then you lost them.
Yeah.
Then I could see it more. But then they were expected to lose them, so I didn't. That's why I didn't really bash him too much about it. I'm not gonna like talk about too much because like they never really had a chance
Okay.
unless Bruce Brown himself wanted a pay cut, which was I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
He wasn't. He was.
Yeah.
He was gonna get the mid level, but he ended up getting the bag.
Yeah, he wanted to get the bag for sure.
So, okay, a couple things before we go into the NHL. So there's a report that came out. I'm not gonna make this a Raptors thing. I'm gonna ask this generically, but it's based on the Raptors reporting that the young guys and the veterans, like especially with Pascal and Fred, they were clashing heads. So generically, I'm not asking specifically for the Raptors. You need vets on your team. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
How much of it these kids have their ego built up? Like, oh my god, I'm like this young guy. I'm this superstar. You're just this old guy. And how stupid does that sound to you?
That sounds stupid.
Because
I don't know what the hell. Yeah, what the hell?
because they had that viral clip of Thaddeus Young and Scotty. You probably remember from last year.
Yeah.
There's that. You had, people clashing. Bones Highland was like clashing heads with Jamal Murray, and which led him to get traded, right? Which is not a good look on Bones Highland now because the Nuggets won the championship. So, like, for me, it's you need vets, right? There's a reason why Udonis, like perfect example is the Heat. Look at Udonis Haslam. His role is literally that. Look at Jeff Green. His role is literally that with the Nuggets last year. This is just like kids being kids, and it's just
Yeah, just simple.
stupid.
You're a young player. You don't know anything.
Yeah,
And don't act like you know anything. All right? Especially when you go, it's like going to the gym. You're a beginner, right?
yeah,
You ain't going to go to the biggest guy in the gym telling him what to do.
yeah,
You're going to go ask for help,
yeah.
right? That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to go out
Like be a
and
sponge, like
criticize.
soak everything.
Yeah,
up.
soak in
Yeah.
what it is, right? You're not going to go up to a guy saying, oh, you don't know how to bench press. Or go up to the guy saying that, like, oh, you shouldn't be squatting this. When this guy's like completely jacked and
Yeah.
been at it for like 3 years. Right? It's the same situation.
For me, it's just stupid. Like you need vets. That's why I hate. Like I'm looking at the Rockets. They're all young guys last year, essentially. Like not solidified vets. There's a reason why they gave Fred VanVleet $43 million a year.
Yeah, they got
so
vets
they could.
in, yeah.
And let's see how that works. If it doesn't work, then something might be up with Fred, not the young guys. But so yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because it's for me it just kind of sounds stupid because like Isaiah Thomas was on Through the Wire podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned he's like, well, how are these young guys gonna learn realistically? And you saw the dysfunction with the Rockets was last year. There's only so much a coach could do.
Yeah, coach can't do everything, right? Like that's why these players coming in, they have teachable moments. Like, all right, no one on the Lakers can go up to LeBron and freaking start clashing head when LeBron
Yeah.
tells you to, all right, you got to work on this, do this,
Yeah.
right? I don't think anyone did it with Jordan. I don't think anyone did it with Kobe. Right, it's the same thing. These vets may not be that level.
Not even okay. You mentioned
But
like superstars.
yeah, no, but I'm saying these vets that may not be that level.
Yeah.
But they know shit. all
Yeah,
right?
no, the reason why I'm
Jeff
saying
Green knows his shit. Udonis
Thaddeus Young
Haslam
knows his shit. Yeah, there's a reason why you bring those guys in.
They're respected vets. Thad Young
Yeah.
is a respected vet.
Yeah.
In the league.
So yeah, no, I just wanted to bring that up because it's not just in the NBA. This is like all sports, right? NHL, soccer, MLB, everything like that.
And just it's general like and everything in life
Like
basically.
you heard Wembanyama say like he had dinner with Duncan and Ginobili and Parker and all these guys, David Robinson. I'm pretty sure he didn't go up to those guys like, yeah, screw you, I'm the new guy in town. Like he's probably learning because A, Spurs culture, and B, he's the next projected next great pick. But
Yeah, this is not just for sports. This is just like everything in
Yeah.
any industry, right?
exactly.
Like,
But as I mentioned, Wembanyama is your favorite for Rookie of the Year.
100%. Why? What the-
There's a certain name that I know I'm off pod. We talked about Chet Holmgren's back, and he's killing it in summer league.
Yeah, okay, but
How much of
He
I know
can
you're not gonna
better.
give it to him because of Shea is there and Lou Dort and all those guys are there.
yeah, he has a
Josh
little bit of
Giddey.
a squad around.
But
him.
I'm just saying in general, he could still put up a fight, right? Like top 3.
Yeah, because Chet's like a
Chet was the second
Chet's
version
like
of.
Chet's kind of like a worse Wembanyama,
Yeah.
right? Like talent wise, but no, there's no one's seen Wembanyama. Like legit, Wembanyama is a 2K player that people create, like those 2K builds. So then we haven't really seen that in real life. So I don't. There's no way for me. It's like Wembanyama, and the only way he does lose it, hopefully, it doesn't happen is like if he's injured.
But okay, so let's just say that happens or he struggles. Would you be surprised if I'm not saying like surprised if Wembanyama doesn't win? Like you'll be surprised. I'm saying outside of that factor, if Chet somehow wins it. Let's just say Chet's one of the big reasons why the Thunder take a massive jump, right?
If Wembanyama performs still,
No. If Wembanyama doesn't perform, let's just say that.
yeah, then
Who would,
obviously
like, is
if
it
he
gonna be
does- it's
for you?
probably
Is it Chet or is it gonna be Scoot?
It's probably Chet.
Okay, that's I just wanted to get that.
Yeah.
I just just wondering about that. I agree with you. It is Wemby, but yeah. Moving on, some big news happened in the NBA. More news will come out on Saturday. The in-season tournament is happening. So the breaking news that came out earlier today was the Final Four will be played in Vegas in December. The championship game stats will not count towards the regular season. So I think those like points per game and all that won't count. But more news will come out Saturday. But this is the first news that came out today. So we'll talk about that next pod.
Yeah, we'll talk about it
slightly.
later.
Are you a fan of the in-season tournament quickly? The Champions League?
I don't know. Like, you're just putting too much on the players now, right?
I don't know if it's still
low-key.
82 games or not, but plus you have the play-in game potential for some teams. But
Yeah, I mean I don't understand how it's gonna work. Obviously, we're gonna have more details Saturday, so I'm not gonna say too much. But like right now, I'm just saying like, obviously as a fan, more basketball. Why not? But like, if you're just looking at players health wise, this might lead to more players being load managed.
Yeah, for sure. But let's move on to the NHL. We're gonna do the same thing. Any new signings that happen right when we stop recording that day, because we had an early recording on Sunday. Tyler Bertuzzi, Max Domi both signed with the Leafs for 1 year deals. Ty Domi, father of Max Domi, so they have
Yeah.
connections there. So they added more grit. Tyler Bertuzzi struggled a little bit with the Bruins, but he could still score.
Tyler Bertuzzi had a decent first round too. Like he had a good like first 4 games, I think.
Yeah. Both are on 1 year deals, so you could trade them if they're really struggling for you. But other than that, nothing big really. Flyers signed Mark Stahl. Travis Hamlin goes back to the Senators. Yeah, so we're not gonna go too much. The other names
Now
you
just
guys
like
can look it
roster
up.
builders, nothing.
No one's really available, right?
I mean, yeah, some of these players are like lost a little bit, like Matt Dumba, who's available.
So you brought up Matt Dumba. The rumor I heard today when I was listening to Halford and Brough is
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that too, like Arizona. And then another one maybe that I thought would be decent was probably Thomas Tatar.
Yeah.
Like he'll be maybe a good ad. And then not really anyone else. I don't really see anyone.
Well, Tarasenko.
Of course.
Tarasenko's,
And then one more.
Tarasenko's rumored for I think Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
That was the one
that'll
rumor
be
I
a good
heard.
ad
That
because
was
they
the
need
one
goal
rumor I
scoring.
heard.
Yeah, and then obviously Tyler Mott, just cause.
I still need to clip that. So
As
if you guys
Tyler
missed it,
Mott.
just check out the last episode where Joven and his love affair for Tyler Mott.
Tyler Mott's absolutely goated. All right.
Okay, so on the trade request today it's a hilarious trade request. I don't know if you heard it. John Gibson requesting a trade, right? Frank Seravalli
yeah,
said
okay,
that.
that's not surprising.
But the way Frank Seravalli worded it, John Gibson's agent got involved.
Yeah.
He essentially just said, he was on Sat and Dan, Sportsnet 650. He was just like, John Gibson said, I'm no longer playing for the Anaheim Ducks. Essentially, I'm not very going to be wearing this jersey again or something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
So I'm paraphrasing it. And then the agent comes out and said, false. Not false to the claim of requesting a trade, but false that he never said it like that. So
Yeah.
caused a little confusion. And then Frank Seravalli responded by saying, last time you questioned my thing, which was like a thing that happened 3 years ago, his sourcing,
Yeah.
you were wrong and I was right. So it's hilarious. But if it's a trade request, not surprised. He's actually young, younger than I thought. How old? Would take a guess on how old he is.
28.
Okay, I'll give you a hint, but I think he's like 29.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
I
in
thought he
his
was
30s.
32, 33.
No,
I genuinely thought he
that
was
was like
32.
Frederick Anderson.
He's been around for so long that I thought he
It's
was
because when Ducks were good, it was like Freddie Anderson, and then John Gibson wasn't a come up, so that's why Freddie like as the backup.
Okay.
So like he wasn't. That's why I think maybe he's like maybe 30 max.
Yeah. But no, so I'm gonna quickly ask you this: how boring was this NHL side of things compared to the NBA?
Yeah, I mean
Nothing like we're gonna do our winners and losers for this in a second here, but it was so hard to pick because everybody just did what they were supposed to do. There was no clear winner. There was
Yeah.
no clear loser.
yeah, of course NHL is a little bit because NHL had a weaker class.
Plus the cap and
Plus,
all that.
people don't move people, right? Like
Mainly because of the cap.
the cap is so tight. Because like realistically, dude, if this was the NBA, McDavid would make like 55 million a year.
Probably.
Yeah, right.
Those of you who don't know, McDavid's only making 12.5 million. That's less than a lot of the mid-level exception players in the NBA.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
like it's just so tight.
Put it this way, Marty Williams is making more than him, I think.
Yeah, so then for an NBA, like you fill out the team 13-man roster, right?
Yeah.
NHL,
It's also a hard cap, whereas the NBA could go into
NHL, you have
luxury.
12 forwards that start for you,
Yeah,
and for an NBA roster, it's a total of like what?
12 on the roster.
Just say 15
Active,
max,
yeah,
right?
15 up to 15.
Yeah, up to
12
15.
usually on the active roster.
Just there's 12 forwards you gotta pay to start for you.
On top of that, 6 defenders,
6 defensemen,
2 goalies.
2 goalies, right?
Probably 3. So,
Yeah, so then for like cap being way
and it's
less,
not even just 6.
yeah.
Sorry, it's not even just 6 and 12. Someone gets hurt. You got to get depth pieces,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you want to get quality depth
I know that
pieces.
we're just saying the bare minimum, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying like the starting lineup is already that much more than an NBA roster.
Yeah.
And then they obviously have a lesser cap, so that's why there's so many like 1 million players, 2 million players, right? Whereas like those 1 million, 2 million players in the NBA would be like 10 to 11 million.
Yeah. Another move that happened related to that, Philip Zadina. And I'm going to have a question for you in a second. Philip Zadina famously known in Vancouver as the guy that went before Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
So thank you, Detroit, but not. I'll get into a second. They're waiving him for a reason to terminate his contract. Now, here's a funny thing, right? That 2018 draft class. I'm gonna ask a question about it in a second. Usually, Canucks fans are never lucky, right? You agree with that in terms of the draft?
Zadina was falling, right?
No. I'll get it. Yeah. But I'm gonna get to that in a second. But what I'm saying is, usually Canucks fans are not lucky with the draft. They usually fall, right? At the most, they'll stay, but fall.
Like
right?
lottery wise?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they never.
And they usually reach for guys. Some of them pan out, some of them didn't. Especially in the betting area, not many of them did, except for at least Pettersson, who we reached. Quinn Hughes is the one guy that we have to thank the hockey gods. They're like, you know what, you guys didn't get the first overall pick. We might as well gift you one that fell to you. So only Benning could have screwed it up, and thankfully he did it. But so you're right. Zadina was supposed to be like the third or fourth guy in this draft.
Yeah.
The reason where this draft went wrong, and I'm gonna pull up the draft class. Kotkaniemi went.
Yeah, Kotkaniemi went
They
high.
reached for him. Montreal reached for him at 3, right?
Yeah.
And then they kind of started going in place. Dahlin was 1. Svechnikov was 2. Those are fair. 3, game changer. Brady Tkachuk then to 4 made sense. Barrett Hayden at 5 screwed everything over. And then here, Detroit was like, I think they were gonna pick Hughes,
But then Zadina.
because Michigan as
Yeah.
well. Michigan State, the state of Michigan, and then he went to Michigan Wolverines. And then on top of that, I think he was from Michigan as well. But reportedly, it was said that no matter what happens, if Zadina's on the board or we're not gonna take you. That's what it was said. Apparently, they told him on the phone.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they changed their draft plans or what the case was, because, well, thank
Zadina
you.
was on the board.
Yeah, but Zadina was supposed to be like fourth.
Yeah,
himself.
he was supposed to be high.
Tkachuk was supposed to be 3, and then Zadina was supposed to be 4th. Problem was they were wingers, and the other 2 that went high were the centers. So it's kind of like they drafted for fit
Yeah.
instead of drafted for need/fit.
Yeah.
Like kind of like Canucks Levy situation,
Yeah.
right? And that's where that happened, and then the Canucks obviously famously got Quinn Hughes. I hope Philip Zadina finds a home. Obviously not the Canucks, but just because we don't need any more wingers unless we move someone out for him.
I mean, Loki take him.
Depends on what the contract is looking like. There's like a weird situation with it, but
They get to pay him more than a minimum.
no, not more than a minimum. I think just the aftermath effects. We're not cap experts, so I'm not gonna say too much. But I'm gonna do a quick exercise with you. Let's just do our first mock redraft. Sorry, not mock draft, redraft.
Yeah.
So the first overall is Quinn Hughes. You have Rasmus Dahlin, Svechnikov, Kotkaniemi, Brady Tkachuk, Quinn Hughes, not Vitaly Krasov, Evan Bouchard, Noah Dobson.
I mean,
Those are like probably the only guys. I'm just trying to skim through to see if there's anyone.
I mean, Rasmus Dahlin did have a good year last year.
Last year though, he came out and he struggled a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like at this rate, the way that Hughes upped his game these last couple of years,
Yeah, okay.
I would say Hughes is the best player. Like,
I don't see anyone else
Yeah.
past the first, second round. So I'm not gonna go further down. Let's just go based off the first round people. I would say Quinn Hughes is a lock at number 1.
I'll say Quinn Hughes is
I don't
number
think
1 too, yeah.
Dahlin. Obviously,
He's performing now.
but not
like Hughes
overall.
has been performed a lot. Like Hughes been performing.
Okay, like is that like for me? How I do a redraft is how much has the guy is better than Dahlin. I feel like Hughes is.
Yeah, right now, like Hughes had the better career so far.
Second,
as well.
would you put Dahlin second, or would you keep it as Svechnikov, or bump up Brady Tkachuk?
Yeah, well, also like I wouldn't have known like the needs.
Oh yeah,
Right,
no,
I do,
we're just
but-
basing it on what we know now in hindsight.
Yeah,
Like I said,
so-
everything gets ranked in hindsight in the future.
Yeah,
That's
so,
how we would criticize these teams what they've done in the past.
I mean,
right.
knowing Carolina, they love their defensemen, so maybe they would have won Rasmus Dahlin
No,
here.
don't even look at the teams. This is just best players.
Then I'll go with Brady Tkachuk.
You gonna go Brady Tkachuk? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I was thinking the same. Then I would go Dahlin and then Svechnikov,
Yeah, I'll go Dahlin Svechnikov.
and then I
Still.
would have went Evan Bouchard probably. Then Kotkaniemi.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Yeah,
Bouchard.
or Noah Dobson as well. But yeah, so it's like
I'll
crazy how-
put Dobson out of Kotkaniemi then.
okay, yeah, because Kotkaniemi also didn't fully pan out, but he's still a decent NHLer. Like Philip Zadina was supposed to be what Kotkaniemi at least at the minimum was supposed to be. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of I just wanted to bring that up because I'm like, hey, might as well do a redraft, and
Yeah.
it involves the Canucks guy who's arguably the best player in that draft. All the three
Yeah,
Hughes brothers are something special. That's
They are
for sure.
special for sure.
let's move on then. Quickly, last thing on the NHL side of things. Patrick Hornquist retired officially today.
Yeah.
Obviously not a superstar or star or anything like that, but like a solid role player.
This
Two
is a
cups,
solid
two
player.
cups
He was
with
in the
Pittsburgh.
middle six
Yeah.
of your lineup. 2 cups with Pittsburgh, obviously, definitely played a big part as well with both of them.
All right. Let's move on to some quick fire. Sticking with
You got
hockey.
winners and losers, fam.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We're disrespecting NHL.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
we already
no.
disrespect NHL for how much we know compared to other sports.
Okay.
But
You want to go winner?
winner. Honestly, I'm going with Carolina. Right? Reason
Oh,
being,
I should have added them. Yeah, I didn't add them.
I'm going with Hurricanes.
I
They
agree
got
with you.
they got the best player available, Dmitry Olov. He was like number 1 ranked.
3-point track too.
Yeah, it's only 2 years.
Turn.
People are surprised that it wasn't like more term, but the fact like Orlov, good defenseman,
Yeah.
right? That's why Bruins traded for him. 7 million, but it's only for 2 years. So if he does struggle, could easily offload it as well.
Yeah.
And then you add in Michael Bunting, he's a good player, obviously. And then if you could add in some scoring, I don't know who else, but those are 2 big signings that I really liked. Obviously, Carolina, obviously love to beef up the back end. So they did have Dougie Hamilton.
They're linked to Eric Carlson, by the way.
Yeah, so why Eric Carlson didn't get Brent Burns reunited?
They're linked just because like
Yeah.
offensively.
No, but like Carolina's just constantly trying to get better, right?
And they brought back their goalies as well.
Yeah, they're constantly trying to get better, and they've been doing that. These like free agencies like that
Yeah.
last year where they added Pacioretty, Burns. Obviously, Pacioretty got injured. Burns had a great year for them, and now they added Orlov and Bunting. Bunting could give you 20 goals,
Yeah.
right? You agree with that?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So
then you added
I didn't put
could
them
add
on
a
my
little bit of
list.
scoring.
Yeah, I didn't put them on my list. I completely forgot about that team. But I'm gonna go with the easy one. I said it last pod. Devils.
Oh yeah, Devils.
You bring back Timo Meyer. All your best players are locked up under 9 mil, right? Dougie Hamilton being the highest. You're gonna bring in now Simon Nemec, right? Luke Hughes. The only
Yeah.
question mark is goalie, and on top of that, you traded Tyler Toffoli, who's like the perfect guy.
Yeah, you got
on
Tyler
the team.
Toffoli. Goalies
Like
like
they're my. I'm saying it right now. They're my early favorite for the cup, at least coming out of the East. They're my early favorite right now, based on what we've seen
I think
so far.
I think it'll take them one more year.
I think they have that experience, and you add Tyler Toffoli. You still have Andre Palat. Timo Meyer obviously got his bag, so he doesn't have to worry about playing on pressure needs. So I think just adding Tyler Toffoli in that environment, you still have Lindy Ruff. Travis Green is running their power play now. He just got assigned as an associate coach there, and Canucks fans can say whatever they want about Travis Green. He ran a heck of a power play, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think that Devils will take. I think it will still take one more year because this isn't like you're gonna have a full year of Timo Meyer. I think they should be better.
Yeah,
Like they could probably pose a better result, maybe conference finals. But I still think that they're a little bit young enough that they will take them 1 year. Goalies, reason why I'm not too much worried because this was their first run at it, both of them.
yeah.
So we'll see how they perform next year, and then depending on that, let's see what they do.
Okay. Yeah, I love this Devils team. I really do. So
Yeah, they're
I'm
really
high
good.
on them now. Like this was my version of the Rangers last year coming into this year. So I'm switching it over to the Devils now because they've just shown more. But I have one more winner before I get to losers. I know you might have one more winner that you mentioned last time, but
Who did I mention? I forgot.
okay, I'll tell you in a second. But mine is the Avalanche. The fact that you lost Gabriel Landeskog for the year and you replaced him cheaply with Ross Colton and Ryan Johansson as your second line setter at the moment, I'm sure they could make
Ross
more
Colton, I
moves.
think, will be center.
Yeah, either way, like they have like center depth now.
Yeah, they got some center depth. Yeah.
Yeah, or the Gabriel Landeskog? Hell no. I'm not saying that either. But Ryan Johansson being like a second option now instead of a first option, which he was in. And I loved Ryan Johansson with Columbus and early Nashville before he got injured. You're playing behind Nathan McKinnon. So you're going to have more favorable matchups as well. Now, is he going to be the same Ryan Johansson from a couple of years ago? Probably not. But you're in a winning situation, and people excel in a winning situation usually.
Yeah. Goalie wise, they're still decent.
There's still Georgiev, yeah.
Georgiev. Defensively, I think they're still
fine.
solid,
I
right?
think they're fine.
Offensively, yes, you might have lost a little bit of scoring. If you lost it with Kadri with that great year he put
Yeah.
up and Landeskog. But as long as Ratinen and McKinnon could stay healthy, which is a little bit questionable because both did have experience
Yeah.
with injuries. But if Ryan Johansson could like refined or like just have a little bounce back year, like
Yeah.
even to like half it of what he used to be,
Yeah.
that'll be such a big
Exactly.
addition.
I think they did a good job filling the temporary holes at the time being,
Yeah, they did a decent
right?
job for sure. And these guys should be like, we don't know if Landeskog could be healthy for playoff. I'm not sure about that. How serious? Like I know it's probably like might be the whole year,
Yeah.
but if he could come back healthy for the playoffs, these guys could hold it down enough for him to have a decent seed in the
Yeah.
playoffs as well.
Okay, your winner. Think about it. There was a certain positional need in the East. Canadian team.
Oh, Ottawa, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'll let
love
you
yeah.
talk about it a little bit. I know you mentioned it last time, but
Yeah, I mentioned it last time. Ottawa, just looking at the season that they had, they added in DeBrincat and they added in Claude Giroux at the beginning. In the trade deadline, they added in Chicherin, right? They needed like the need for Ottawa was like they built out two lines,
yeah,
right? That will that's what you need for a cup contending team, right?
and they have four legit
And
top four
now
D
you got
men
like
now.
four top D men, like you got Shabbat and Chicherin,
Jacob Sanderson and
Jake Sanderson, and
I forgot his name. I'll look for it up, but
whoever it is, like you have three insane guys. Whoever is the fourth guy should be able to plug in that hole.
yeah,
If,
no, but this
right?
guy's actually good, so that's why I don't want to disrespect him. But
Yeah, no, I forgot who it was too. I know there's one more. And then now the question mark was goalie. You went through 7 goalies last year. Corpusalo will give you
was that
great.
exaggerated or is it
No, I
legit?
think it's something around that. Like it's
Okay,
around that number. And then Corpusalo held it down for the Kings. Oilers had a tough time beating Corpusalo, right? Corpusalo with Columbus had a great career. In the bubble playoffs when Corpusalo broke the saves record when it went like 5 overtimes with 80 plus saves.
cut you off, Artem Zub.
Yeah, Artem Zub. Okay, so you have like now for like 2 solid deep pairings as well,
Yeah,
right? So if everyone plays up to expectation with Corpusalo, which yes, you might have probably had a little bit term, a little bit longer than you wanted, but he was the best goalie available.
yeah,
He was the only person that could have gave you the biggest improvement that you needed, which was goaltending
yeah.
after the Chitrin trade. Maybe if you like waited for Hellebuck or John Gibson, but that was like too risky. You wanted to get your guy, you got your guy, and this guy will make you better.
Okay, so I'm not disagreeing you like how I did with the Rockets one. You're slightly in the minority from what I hear around the radio, but I disagree with them. I agree with you more in this
Yeah.
case. The Rockets one, I disagreed with you a little bit more. Only reason why I disagree is the whole DeBrincat situation. He's supposed to get traded, hasn't been traded yet. It's like a Kachuk situation. I'm not saying he's Matthew Kachuk. I'm saying it's that situation, kind of like PD right now for the Canucks. Um, it's just okay. What's the return? Because he's up for an extension. Is he going to sign an extension like Kachuk did, or is it going to be what type of return are you going to get? That's all.
Yeah,
That's all.
that is the
That's
biggest
the only
question.
reason why I'm not putting him in the winners because that trade they might because DeBrincat was solid for them. I love that trade for them last year, but
Yeah.
clearly he doesn't want to be there. And on top of that, guys, I was listening to Ian Mendez who came on the radio this morning to talk about this, and yeah, so like that's where my thing is like, let's see what happens with the DeBrincat situation, then I'll judge it fully.
Yeah, obviously that's a big one, but if you like if he still plays, like if he's still here, yeah, you might not get anything for him at the end. But I'm saying this year in general could be like a very good year for this team as like a wild card push or a playoff
Yeah.
push, right? And then obviously the Brinker situation is like that's something off ice, but on ice when you're looking at this team, that you're like, okay, these guys could make a wild card.
Yeah.
I don't think DeBrink is gonna hold out. I think he'll still play.
Who knows
Right.
though? I think that thing there is also kind of gone crazy. It's kind of like the Frank Serafelli Gibson situation.
Like it's gone in.
Yeah, because their senators are saying that DeBrincat's the reason why the trade's not happening, but then DeBrincat's agent's like he has no trade clause or no move clause. This is on you. Obviously, it depends on where he wants to extend, so that might be the issue. But yeah, so I'm not
Yeah.
too sure.
Yeah, just gotta figure out that situation.
all
If they,
it
if they
is.
figure that out,
He's
they'll
gone.
be
He's
set.
gone. At the end of the day, he's
yeah,
not
he's
coming
gonna be
back.
gone. He's not coming back. But if they
But,
figure out that situation,
yeah.
they're set.
Okay, losers. I don't know if we have the same ones or not. Oh, I was gonna jokingly say winner Canucks for not giving up no stupid contract, but obviously that's more on the joke side of things. But no, the Canucks are not winners. I'm just jokingly saying that.
But they're actually not losers. That's
The thing.
That's why they're winners.
So losers. First off, I'm gonna just get it off the bat. I said it last pod. Islanders. What the hell are those contracts?
yeah,
Simple
that
as
was
that.
my loser.
I'm not gonna even go over it. You guys could look it up just because the extended. Okay, well, since it's our job now, I should look it up. But Bo Horvat extension is kicking in now, right?
You
This
got
year, 8 and 8.
Pierre Engvall, like 7 years.
Yeah, you extend him. These guys are older guys. No one really young, right? You extend both your goalies.
Yeah,
Sorokin,
like,
okay, that's fine,
you're
but then
like close to like
Varlamov,
12
yeah,
mil to your
that
goalies now.
alone makes no sense. Scott Mayfield, 7 years, right?
Yeah, Scott Mayfield,
So
7 years, and Pierre Engvall,
just because of
7
that,
years.
you guys are like the new Canucks of the East. That's the way I'm gonna put it. You agree with that?
Yeah, honestly, Loki, that was the only loser I had. I don't think
Okay,
anyone did it.
I had two more.
Yeah.
This one is more so listening to the radio, not like more so mine, but I do kind of agree with it. The Red Wings, and the reason is they brought in who did they bring in again? JT Compher,
Yeah,
5 years.
JT Compher, yeah.
They're saying they were rebuilding. There's a reason why they traded away Philip Hronek, who's relatively young,
Yeah.
right? People are like, okay, the Canucks are stupid because Stevie Y might have finessed them because of Steve Eisenman at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But their draft picks have been questionable even this year, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Philip
they have been
Zadina, clearly Philip Zadina.
They have been questionable this year.
Um,
Nate Danielson at 9 when there's like Dvorsky available.
Yeah.
Zach Benson.
So there's that. And then the other issue is their signings from this year, which were, let me just pull it up.
Gostisbehere was one.
Justin Hole for 3 years, 10.2, who struggled mightily.
Justin
in
Hole
the
for
playoffs.
3 years. Gostisbehere was only 1 year, so that's
Yeah,
not too
Clem
bad.
Costin 2 years, Alex Lyon added, James Reimer added. So who's their goalie realistically? They lost Nadalkovich.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Before I move on to my last loser, power rank these teams on who's gonna make the playoffs first. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Senators, Red Wings, Sabres.
I mean, Red Wings are 3 for me now.
Yeah. They all were.
I don't know. I mean, it probably has to be Sabres just because of the Dubrinka situation.
I'm still going with the Sens. I think I said it last time. I still think the Sens will figure it out.
No, but yeah, the Sabres goaltending, it was Craig Anderson, who's retired now. So
Yeah,
I don't know if they
I don't even know. I don't think they replaced anyone.
Yeah,
yet.
I don't know if they replaced anyone.
I don't know. A lot of people. It's like a copycat league. Okay, so I'm gonna copycat league, which is why I'm gonna go to my last loser. The LA Kings.
Yeah, LA Kings for sure
Right?
are one.
And the
yeah.
reason why is because there's a copycat league, right? Vegas won with like what, 7 goalies themselves, 5 goalies, right? Robin Leonard out for the year, so he wasn't even there. But Logan Thompson, who was their all-star, out for the year.
Yeah.
After that, right? Aiden Hill, by the way, that contract. Congratulations, Aiden Hill, but
It was gonna happen.
it's an overpay.
It was gonna happen.
It's a massive overpay in my opinion. I understand it was a playoff run, but who knows? People go hot in the playoffs sometimes, and then don't.
Yeah, so
fall out.
they placed it Corpusalo with Cam Talbot, who's
Questionable.
who's had good moments and bad moments.
Yeah.
Right. They traded Sean Dursey away.
The PLD. See, I'm gonna bring up the PLD
The
trade.
PLD
again.
trade, yeah.
You traded away 3 rotational pieces, like middle 6 pieces, and for a guy who hasn't really shown above the quality you expect him to be. I'm not saying Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Consistently.
Yeah. I'm not saying Pierre-Luc Dubois is a bad player. I know he had playoff performances, but the question is like, he's no Kachuk in my eyes.
You kind of like put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Right.
And who knows? This guy might want to go to Montreal in 2 years.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like if he pops off,
Great.
that's great.
But then your depth
But
around it is
there
gone.
is a question.
But your depth around it's gone.
Yeah, but the question mark is just his consistency, right? That's what it is for me. He's a good player. He fits your need. You needed a guy who could. You need a little bit better 5-on-5 play. He will bring you that. He'll score goals. He could play the second line center. He's also versatile. He could play on the wing depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
If you want to go like Kopitar,
Yeah, it's just
Dubois, and like Philip Noah as your like 3 centers, then definitely should power play shouldn't fall off because Kings had a killer power play. That's why they were like up there. But
I just don't trust it right now. Obviously, I could be
yeah,
wrong.
they
This is
took
my
a
hot
risk.
take. It's
They
a
took
hot
a
take.
risk.
I believe it might be a hot take because I just don't.
no,
trust
you're not wrong with that because they didn't replace their goalies well at all.
Yeah. No, I'm saying about PLD.
As well.
I'm saying about
Yeah.
PLD.
I know I'm saying Kings in general as a loser, like their goalies.
Oh yeah,
the goalies are now Talbot and Riddick.
Is their defense similar to what Vegas' defense is?
No, it's not really. But like depending on who they have
they're
their
well
pipeline.
coached in it. Is what my
They are well coached, right?
because Gavrikov had a great year for them.
Yeah,
There's
Gavrikov
a
had a
reason why
great
they
year.
extended
Obviously,
him.
Doughty
Whether you
still
trade away
Doughty.
Jersey, like you said, but then or how much are you going to rely on Brant Clark next year, for example?
Yeah,
Jamie Drysdale.
If he's supposed to be Jamie Drysdale.
Sorry, no. Never mind. He's a
You
forward.
just fix something. So like
Alex Turco, I wasn't gonna think I'm saying, but he's a
yeah, no, but like if Brent Clark was supposed to be like what you project him, because he's been in the pipeline for a while, like
Yeah.
they really developed him, I guess.
Yeah, there's a reason
They
why
think-
like
He wasn't
people are
involved
asking
in the,
him for like a potential Hellebuck, Demko, all this trade.
yeah, no, so they didn't want to put him in
Exactly,
there.
yeah.
So like they think he is the next Drew Doughty for that team.
Yeah.
So that they kept him there. They helped him. They developed him a little bit. They have a good defensive pipeline.
Because people gotta realize Korpisalo was the major reason why they got 2 games out of Edmonton.
Yeah, he was because
Right? So that's where I'm like, I mean, it's good for the Canucks. I hope they are losers, but I'm just saying in general, as
Yeah.
the NHL, like as doing our job type of thing now. Yeah, I just don't trust that team now as much as I thought I would have.
they definitely took a risk. Can they be better than they were last year? 100%.
Because every team's gonna try to be Vegas, clearly,
Yeah.
because no one's really picking up goalies all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, but like I'm just saying, the Kings did have a good defensive pipeline. That like Demko going to the Kings was the best spot for the Canucks because they could have got the best possible return for from the Kings that will match their need as well.
Yeah, so yeah, those are our winners and losers. Agree, let us know. Disagree, any teams we've missed, put them in there. We'll move on to another hockey. We're gonna go to our quick-fire topics quickly. We're gonna go to some Hockey Canada news. For those of you who don't know, there's a lot of scandal shit going on. If you thought Canada soccer was bad and we were ranting about that, Hockey Canada ain't got nothing. Sorry, Canada soccer ain't got nothing on Hockey Canada.
Yeah.
Because from 03, there's a sexual assault case still going on. There's another one. There's rumored under the table payments, stuff like that. So Hockey Canada has officially announced a new leader, a new CEO and president, in Catherine Henderson. Catherine now spent the last 7 years as the CEO of Curling Canada. So she obviously has leadership experience with a different sport, but same thing. She'll begin her role September 4th, so still ways to go. Has a track record, like we've mentioned. I'm not going to go too much into, like, you guys could look her up. Her name is Catherine Henderson.
Yeah.
Catherine with the K, ends with the E. But yeah, it's just like a lot of this drama. A woman said 8 unnamed CHL players, including members of the 18 junior team, assaulted her in June. Right. Again, these are allegations. We're not saying anything definitive here. This is all alleged. And it's, it makes sense. You need a new voice. You need new leadership, because clearly the old ones, there's a lot of shit going on. So, and Hockey Canada in general hasn't done shit well, clearly, like to the point where Trudeau was involved. So
Yeah, it's just a mess.
yeah,
That's all you got.
I don't know too much
That's
of
the
her. We'll look into our research as well. This came out, like, I think
Yeah.
yesterday night or today.
The gist of the story is they're in a mess,
Yeah,
and
that's all.
they created their own mess.
Exactly. So congratulations, Catherine. Hopefully you could turn this around.
Yeah.
Moving on, let's go to the MMA, UFC. The UFC fights this weekend. Your boy Volkanovski's back.
Yeah, Volkanovski
fighting the
versus
interim
Yair.
champ,
Yair
Yair Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
We also had an impressive showing for you.
He was really good in that fight. I forgot
there's-
who he faced, but like when Volkanovski faced Makachev, Yair got the interim title
Yeah.
the fight before.
So he'll be, obviously, my prediction quickly, I think Volk still wins it.
I think Volk still has it.
But here's the thing.
This is definitely gonna be his toughest fight.
It's the year of upsets for the
I
last
know.
couple of years. And we had it with Izzy. We had it with Kamaru. We had it with Shevchenko, Valentina Shevchenko. We had it with Nunez as well.
The thing with Yair is kind of like the Usman one. I was like surprised because Usman had the fight won.
Yeah.
The thing with the Pereira Izzy, I think it's gonna be similar as like Yair Volk. Like you won't be it won't be a jaw drop for me that if Yair wins.
You think it'll be like close like Izzy and Pereira?
Yeah, it's gonna be like close like Izzy
Yeah.
Pereira.
So you're not giving like Volk just because he's 25-2 and has all this experience. He has a minus 385 favorite.
This is I mean, obviously Volk has done well when he bounced back from the L,
Yeah.
right? It's clearly shown he got the belt.
Mexican fighters are on the come up.
Yeah.
Grasso. Speaking of Mexican fighters,
Yeah.
Brandon Moreno's a co-main event with Pantoja.
Yeah. So I'm like my point with Volk is like he bounced back, beat Holloway
Yeah.
definitively after. So he
Yeah,
obviously
that
he's been good in his division. I still gotta give it to Volk. It's like I can't see him lose right now, but I won't be surprised if Yair could pull it off because he was really good in his
Yeah.
last fight.
So I'm guessing you're going with Volk though, like
I'm going with Volk.
unanimous or like decision.
Yeah, I think Volk gets in
I
decision.
feel like Volk either wins by decision or Yair somehow wins by knockout, which is I feel like that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what usually
The
happens.
favorite
Yeah.
usually wins by decision, and underdog usually wins by non-decision, like
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
submission or knockout or ref stoppage. There's another fight you should keep an eye out on for. The third one is Robert Whitaker.
Yeah.
So Izzy's potential new opponent could be Duplessis from South Africa, 19-2 record.
Wow.
And if he wins, obviously, you know how Izzy is. He never turns down the battle. He'll
Yeah.
call out
Izzy
the
will
guy out.
fight everyone. Yeah.
He'll fight, like, literally call a prayer right away and did it, right? So, same thing here. So, we have some good fights to watch this weekend for sure.
Yeah.
Let's move on. You want to go MLB or do you want to
We'll
go
go
soccer?
soccer.
Let's go soccer quickly.
We'll
'Cause
end
it's
off with MLB.
It's more quick fire there. We're finally talking some baseball because you could tell that the offseason is now died down, NHL and NBA. But soccer, let's just go with quick updates. Coaching hires. Leeds hired Daniel Fark, and the reason why I'm bringing them up
Yeah.
is he's nicknamed
Like promotion king or something.
yeah,
like
the
that, right?
promotion king. That's the only reason why I was gonna mention him. I was like, man, they're a championship team, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So let's see if it's true. He was recently just sacked by Gladbach in Germany.
Yeah.
So, as they finished 10th. So let's see. He helped Norwich go up twice, got sacked by them, and now Leeds. Let's see if he lives up to that name. Another one was it's finally official. Galtier out at PSG.
Yeah.
Enrique is officially in. So
Yeah.
this is like official. Enrique already got his press conference.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mbappe questions, but
Yeah. Was
Yeah.
there like PSG's president saying that in order for Mbappe to play this year, he has to sign a new contract?
sign a contract or we're selling him, one or the other.
Yeah. So
I
I mean, obviously, I kind of like for business wise, it makes sense because you don't want Mbappe to leave for free.
exactly. There's a reason why they really extended him heavily before, right? So, and last one, this is a lot surprising. On the national side of things, Carlo Ancelotti will finish out his contract with Real Madrid in June 2024, just in time for the Copa America. And now you're wondering, Carlo Ancelotti's Italian. Why does he care about the Copa America? Well, he reportedly agreed to start coaching Brazil.
And Brazil
And
needs
this is
that,
by
you know?
Fabrizio Romano. I know I mentioned this like a month ago when transfer window opened and news were coming out, but this one is by Fabrizio Romano, the here we go specialist himself.
Honestly, I
The
think
CBF president, so the Brazilian Federation president, just confirmed that Ancelotti will be the new manager of Brazil starting the Copa America 2024. Carlo will respect his contract at Real Madrid, which ends at June 2024.
I think it's what Brazil needed, right?
Yeah, winning mentality, winning coach.
The coaches
Put 'em
like
over the hump.
they weren't decent, right? Like they need someone. Ancelotti's a winning coach. He's capable of putting him over the hump because like Brazil, they're like quarterfinal merchants in these last couple of World Cups, right?
Yeah.
We expect them to be semifinal, finals. They always got out in the quarterfinals. Like Loki in 2018, I think they should have beaten Belgium, and then obviously Croatia they should have beaten.
Yeah. Let's move on quickly. Some official news. Declan Rice officially was unveiled,
Yeah.
and they also officially agreed on a deal. Nothing confirmed like Declan
Julian
Rice,
Timber?
but Julian Timber is going to Arsenal. He was linked with Man United last year before we got Lisandro Martinez.
So this is what Arsenal's doing right now was what Man United need to do,
Exactly.
and yeah, I mean Arsenal's finally spending now.
Yeah. Outside of
is-
Man City if Man City were somehow implode this year,
And our cousin's excited for that. He's like,
Yeah.
yes, they're finally expanding.
are the Arsenal's the favorites, if not City, right now?
Huh? Yeah, Arsenal's to
Or-
me is the second best team
You
in the
still
Premier
not
League
okay?
right
So
now.
you're not gonna give Liverpool the edge after a bad year,
Yeah, I mean my top three is those three.
and then United just for the bias to four for as of right now.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell United are doing. Obviously, there's ownership issues. There's obviously, it just I don't even know what to say. I genuinely don't know
Well,
what to
so
say.
we're not gonna get into that today.
Yeah.
But also with Luis Enrique, he's reunited with Neymar,
Yeah,
but let's see if Neymar stays.
yeah.
Pulisic is close to AC Milan. A couple of rumors. Pulisic and his entourage have asked Chelsea to accept the AC Milan offer. Hakeem Ziyech's medical supposedly failed, but it was supposedly a different reason, not just the medical, from one of the Saudi teams. Hey, breaking news for FA Cup: replays could be scrapped. The early rounds moved to midweeks and the final stage, so that's good.
Yeah.
Last couple of things before we get into baseball. Oh, Mason Mount, number 7. Your thoughts? Officially announced as number 7. Surprised? I am.
Yeah, I'm surprised at number
I thought it
7.
was gonna be Mason Mount gets 19 and Varane will finally get 4 because Phil Jones was gone, but and then Garnacho or someone would have gone 7. But
Yeah, I thought I remember
Ten Hag's the
Garnacho.
one who gave him the 7, so he's banking on a
See.
lot. It's a lot of pressure. Number 7 curse.
Yes, Ten Hag wanted him, I guess. Then Ten Hag, obviously,
Sancho was supposed to get it, but
yeah. I mean, the thing was this, like, when I'm like talking about like Man United and Arsenal, right? Like, for them, like Arsenal finally got a bit of continuity in their coach, right?
Yeah.
With Arteta, so now these players that were able to grow under Arteta, and now Arteta got charge of the transfer window and like wanted Declan Rice, got him, wanted Kai Havertz, got him, right?
overspent
like,
a little bit, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
but
You're
then
supposed to.
the thing with this is like the manager. We need to let the manager like get the players' needs, like because United spend money for the sake of spending money. They never really spent money for the manager's sake. What their wish list was, right?
Yeah.
Like Mourinho didn't really get defenders. Oli, we didn't really get like too many attackers, right?
Or the names that they wanted, they just wanted.
Or the names they
whatever.
want to do, like because there's a list that they give, but the board and the owners
Yeah.
have another list.
Now I'm
I'm not saying
listen-
United have signed good players, right? There's like obviously, but the issue is that their continuity, because the coaches keep on flipping.
Yeah.
Now that we're hoping with Ten Hag that he's the guy since Fergie. So if Ten Hag gets like 3 years under his belt and really takes over and like really starts like demanding players, getting players like how Fergie did,
Yeah.
that's when I could get confidence of like, okay, this club is coming back. But the issue is we need a coach that could stay longer than 3 years.
Exactly. But here's my thing. I do agree that the manager should get the players they wanted, but not full control either, because sometimes you'll get bad contracts. As much as I love Anthony and I hope he moves up,
Yeah, that is
was
bad.
an
That's
overpay.
Ten Hag. Yeah.
But it was also not on Ten Hag fully, because earlier when
Like he was supposed to be 60 mil.
he was
yeah.
supposed to be cheaper, and then Man United's board fucked
They
that up.
denied it then.
And then
then
overspent after. So it's
they overspent after because they couldn't get anyone
yeah,
else.
it was both.
And then Ajax was like, you're desperate to get a player now.
But yeah, the number 7, a lot of pressure is on. Just because you're
Yeah.
giving him the iconic shirt. Now, to be fair, Cavani didn't do bad in it.
Cavani did good. Ronaldo did good when he went back to it.
The last English player to wear number 7 won the league title for Man United.
David Beckham.
No, there was one after. He was more of a bust.
Michael Owen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was old, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing before we move on to baseball to end things off today. The Gold Cup update, we'll give it to you right now. We're officially in the knockout stages. Canada, I don't know how much the drama was in their heads. Obviously, it's not the A squad, so clearly the lack of depth showed. Thankfully, have qualified. So
They qualified,
for those of
yeah.
you that thought I was gonna say they didn't qualify, they qualified. They came second. Horrible draw. They had the easiest group. Horrible draw to Guatemala. Horrible draw to Guadeloupe. But handled business with Cuba. But I didn't watch the game. But when I was listening to Mike Halford, who
Yeah,
religiously
it
watches
wasn't
soccer,
good. It wasn't
and he
good.
was like, it was shit, essentially.
I mean, what? You allowed 2 goals and then
2 penalties, and then, yeah. I like the fact that Dane Sinclair's in there so he could show off a little
Yeah.
bit. But the good news is they're qualified. The bad news is you're playing U.S. in Cincinnati, and the last time Canada beat U.S. in the U.S.,
it was like in 1950s.
yeah. So that's one quarterfinal matchup. That's on Sunday for those of you guys that don't want to watch. Now, if Canada had topped their group, they would have been playing Jamaica, who's been really good because they brought their A squad. But Guatemala, Jamaica, second semifinal. Mexico, Costa Rica, the third quarterfinal.
Quarterfinal.
Sorry, and Qatar, Panama is the fourth quarterfinal. So that's this weekend for those of you that want to tune in. Let's go Canada. Hopefully you guys make history.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the baseball. The baseball
Our
time.
first real baseball talk.
Yeah, we're like, it's the Midsummer Classic, the All-Stars next week, so we might as well recap since we're going to be talking a little bit more baseball anyways. Let's first talk about the Blue Jays, because
Blue Jays
Blue Jays
fans.
fans. You know, as you can tell with the pennant, my shirt.
Yeah. I don't want to try to drag it on too much, but
Yeah,
as simple as this,
very inconsistent is the best
very
way I could put it.
inconsistent. Yeah.
Because, I'll let you go first.
All right, so like the moves in the offseason were made to fill the holes of this team, and they have been better at that because outfield defense
Insane.
insane now. Infield defense,
Still decent.
it's still decent. Chapman hasn't been compared to the level that he used to is, but he's still good. Bichette, nah,
Up and down.
up and down.
Defensively.
Second base with Merrifield, Santiago Espinal, whoever it is,
They've been
they're
good.
they've been good, and then Vadi at first,
He's
still been pretty
fine.
killer. So defensively, you've gone better.
Oh, and catcher, Danny Johnson.
Danny Johnson,
Kirk,
yeah.
questionable, but yeah.
Then starting pitching, it's actually good. Like
Okay, so
it's like
let me address the defense first before we go.
yeah.
There. I agree with you 100%. The defense side of things, it's just everything I echo everything you said. That's where the biggest upgrade needed, and it showed. So clearly, the reason why we added these pieces, it's helping, right? And now you pitching.
Starting pitching, it's actually other than one person,
Who's coming back? Alec Manoa.
it's actually been good.
Yeah.
Right.
Inconsistent. That's the key word, though. Inconsistent.
It's been like I won't say it was too bad. Like
Gosman's bads were bads, though.
Gosman's bads were bad, but there's
And
like
so was Bassett's.
there were two or three bad.
Yeah.
Like Gosman's leading in strikeouts and all that stuff, and deservedly so an all-star.
Yeah.
Bassett would have been an all-star, but he went on
He went
because
0-3 on that road trip.
that road trip with like Texas and like
Yeah.
Oakland and all that stuff. If he didn't have that spirit, his season would look way better than it
Yeah.
actually was, than it is showing right now. But when Bassett's on his game, he's sick.
Yeah.
Brio's bounce back year, absolutely incredible.
Kikuchi,
I
same
think
thing.
I think Brio struggled in his last start.
Last
Was it-
start, yes,
yeah.
and the first couple of starts, that's it.
The last start, I think he struggled both times against the Red Sox, and then
Yeah.
his first couple of starts. Last start was mad because when he did struggle, it was like in the sixth inning
Yeah.
when he allowed like 2 home
No
runs,
offense was provided.
and then no offense was provided. But like his first 5 innings, absolutely killer,
Yeah.
and he got no run support. And
Kikuchi, same
Kikuchi,
thing.
again, same thing. Great bounce back year for him.
So the fifth starter, like you mentioned, Alec Manoa got benched. He was the third best pitcher, essentially top 3 pitcher last year in the AL, Cy Young candidate, all-star. Reason why he was our ace, even though I disagreed with that move at the beginning of the year. Coming back on Friday, first game back. So let's see how he does with his rehab.
But like, if you think about this, if Manoa was like somewhat of what he was last year, this starting five
It's probably
Could have
arguably the best in baseball.
could have
Arguably
been the best in
Yeah.
baseball, like numbers wise. Obviously, clean up a little
Ryu also coming back as well.
Yeah, clean up a little inconsistencies from Bassett,
Yeah.
and then really that not really money else. Hopefully, Gosman's been fine. I'm no issue with Gosman, no issue with Kikuchi, and Brio's really found
Even
Minnesota
with Bassett,
Brios.
it's just like the lows were too low. Like the first
Yeah, his lows were
game,
too lows.
but his
The thing
highs were insane.
Yeah,
highs, though.
the thing with the Brios is like last year when his lows, because Brios like low key if you think about it, like half his starts were good and were really good, and like
It was like
Bassett,
Bassett, yeah.
and half of it was bad and they were really bad. So that's why his ERA
Yeah.
was like jumped up. But the thing with Brios now, which I like the most, is when he gets in trouble, it's not like last year,
Yeah.
right? Like he still does enough to give the team a chance to win.
Yeah.
And like even with the starts that he struggled with, barring the first two,
Yeah.
I feel like there may have been 4 or 5 runs, but I felt like he's done enough for the Blue Jays bats to do something.
Yeah. So
And then moving on to the bats.
no, we had addressed the bullpen too. That was pitching. So
bullpen.
I'm gonna piggyback off that. So there were inconsistencies in the starting pitching, so that's part of my reason why I say they were inconsistent.
But it's not your
But
worst
It
group.
was not. It's not the worst.
It's definitely like one
Same
of
thing
your-
with the bullpen. So pretty much the bullpen similar thing. Problem is lately Romano Swanson have been struggling. Swanson's been playing a lot, so that could be a factor. I love the Nate Pearson pickup. Obviously his lows were kind of low, but his highs were extremely high. Same thing, inconsistency, but they are getting the job done. Obviously trade deadline, I would still say get more bullpen arms because you don't want to
because
drag
they're
them into
like
it.
the amount of close games you've been in, your high relievers like
Yeah,
Yimi hasn't been the same as last year, but he's still decent. Swanson,
Trevor Richards
Trevor Richards been a surprise
because
for
he
sure.
started too, right? So
Eric Swanson was like first 2 months, or like his first whatever half of the season,
it was killer.
absolutely killer. And obviously struggled a little bit because the amount of close games we've been in, he's obviously gonna
Yeah, and then
pitch more and more.
And then Romano, same thing.
Like if Morano does, you're like up there in saves, but the only bad thing about being up there in
Could have
saves,
had more saves.
you could have had more saves, but like the only bad thing about wanting your closer up there in saves is like okay, your team's not definitively winning.
Yeah.
It's like how much can you really sustain?
Exactly. So you're bound to blow, and everybody is perfect.
Yeah.
So to your point, the most inconsistent batting,
Batting.
the offense.
What was supposed to be your strong point coming into the season is it the main reason why you're losing games.
You did lose a lot in Teoscar Hernandez,
And
but
Lourdes, yeah.
Matt Chapman showed first month that he might. We were not missing Teoscar, and obviously Lourdes Gurriel, like you said, he's having an all-star year. He's literally an all-star.
Yeah, he's literally an all-star.
But Dalton Varsho's kind of been up and down. Matt Chapman's on the low a little bit. Kevin Kiermaier has been a surprise, but you're not expecting Kevin Kiermaier to put up Gurriel numbers.
The thing with this team is like
And Vladdy.
the only person that's been consistent from day
Offensive
one,
side of things?
yeah, is Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
Like when Bo Bichette, Vladdy, and Chapman had it going in the beginning, people
George
like
Springer didn't.
Springer struggled, Belt struggled, Varsho struggled, and then Varsho went on a little bump,
But
and then
went back.
Vladdy dropped down, and then when
now
Springer went
Now
back on the
Springer's
bump,
killing it. Like,
now
he's literally
Springer's
killing
going on thing. Chapman obviously is not what he did when he was a AL player of the
it.
month.
Yeah.
And then Belt started killing it. Then Belt got injured. And now Belt's
still
back.
killing
He's
it.
he's still doing decent, but like he wasn't
Yeah.
what he was before his injury. And then Varsho up and down. Another player that's probably been consistently well, Whit Merrifield. He's
He's
killing it
an
in average. He's an all-star. He's I think 290 plus average.
Yeah.
Definitely he's like remember when he had the question mark at second base, like is it gonna be him, is it gonna be SML, or is it gonna be Biggio? Is Merrifield, and it's not even close now.
Yeah, I mean, Merrifield could also, and Biggio could go into the outfield, so that helps by putting Espinal or Biggio in. But last thing with the Jays, I agree with you. I think like the main thing is the inconsistency is like Gosman's killing it, and the batting isn't doing it. Usually,
Yeah, even like Brios' last start, like
same thing, right?
Brios
Or if the batting's killing it, the pitching might
Yeah,
go a
like
little bit, man, the bullpen especially. So
yeah, right. There's no game where like all three went off, and there's no moment in time. That's why we never go on these like big runs, like 6-7.
yeah,
Not even like 6-7. I'm trying to see like 9-10, but we can't even go on a 6-7
yeah,
like win streak. And then reason being is because not your batting lineup from 1 to 9 is either some of them are doing good and the other doing bad, and then another game the other half's doing good, the other half's doing bad. And like you said, starting pitching, when you're getting like 6, 7, 8, 9 innings from like the four people that have been pretty decent this year, you have no run support. And then when you finally get run support, like the Bassett game against Texas where they were up like 5-6-0, Bassett chokes and gets Texas back in this game, and then you lose that game eventually,
yeah.
like 8-6 or whatever it is.
Yeah. But so the last thing I want to say before we move on to the general baseball surprises, winners, losers, essentially for baseball. Today's episode is literally winners and losers. Here's the reason why the Jays aren't killing it in the division, especially. They're 7-20 in the division, AL East. They're 39-20, I believe, outside of that. I know I didn't do my math correctly, but that's something along. I did my math correctly.
It's legit like that. It is legit that.
It is that. Yep, 39-20. So I did my math correctly.
Obviously, they didn't play today with a rain delay.
Yeah, so 7-20 in the division. Thankfully, we're no longer playing the division as much as we were last year. The schedules are obviously a lot more balanced. But that being said, which we're going to get into our surprises of the year, other teams are killing it, so it's not easy. But we're handling business against the other.
It's gonna be harder to catch up in a division.
That's
now
the thing,
because now it's just like wild card spot.
We're on the 4th in the division. We would be first in the Central, AL Central, and the NL Central essentially. So let's move on. First surprise is to stay in the division, the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
Second, they're literally 4.5.
Like I don't know how they were gonna take a step forward from last year, but they did that so far,
Massive.
or they're doing that, right?
Sorry. Last thing for the Blue Jays, it's similar to Canada soccer to me. The honeymoon phase is over because
that was over like 3 years ago.
That year essentially when we had Simeon. That was the last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. But yeah, continue.
Because last year it was underperforming the playoffs, and then this year it's gonna be a brawl just to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay, Orioles, go.
Yeah, Orioles. I'm surprised that they took an even bigger step than last year. Like they're doing better than what they were last year. That's absolutely insane. Adley Rutschman, obviously, insane player. Gunnar Henderson, I think this is like first full year.
Best
So
young core in baseball still
yeah,
coming up.
his best young core in baseball coming up still, and then you obviously have people who already been there like Cedric Mullins, Anthony Santander, Ryan Mountcastle,
Blue Jay killer.
who've been doing good for you.
Yeah.
So
They're
definitely
only-
batting wise are good. The only concern I have for them is Felix Bautista, one of the best closers in the game.
Yeah.
With I forgot the other guy's name. Their setup man. Only question mark I have for them is like their starting pitching. Like can they like get can they compose a deal to get some like an ace starting pitcher, because they have like a bunch of like 2, 3s, and 4s.
So
in my opinion,
they'll be a buyer for sure at the deadline. 5 games only back of the division, which is crazy to say.
that's
Because
insane.
especially with Tampa going off on a tear, Tampa kind of went back to earth a little bit, but Baltimore kind of did too. So that's surprise number 1. I agree with everything you said. I'm not going to waste too much
And
time with that.
the setup man was Yennier Cano, I believe.
Okay. Second surprise, I mentioned Tampa's hot start, but I'm not going to go too much into that because people kind of expected it because it's usually Tampa. Regular season Tampa's pretty good.
Yeah, but
here's my surprise.
Tampa's like kind of like the best team.
I'm
in
going to
baseball.
help the NL because that's where all the surprises are.
Yeah, they are more
Outside of
surprised.
Atlanta, right? Outside of Atlanta, everybody else is surprised to me.
They're like kind of in the playoffs, right? Or in the
Yeah.
playoff spot.
Miami second,
Uh,
3.5 games behind.
they're ahead of
I'm gonna go with my first team, Cincinnati.
yeah. To your point about Miami, they're ahead of the Phillies, who I thought were worth
Yeah,
for
we'll get into that
in
a
my
second,
thing.
but-
They were the NL.
Yeah.
They're coming out of the
We'll get
NL.
into my disappointment because my disappointment is also down there. But
But
Cincinnati.
yeah,
I'm gonna
Cincinnati
tie
for
2
sure.
things together. Pittsburgh was a hot start, and now they fell 4th. But during their losing streak, Cincinnati went on like a massive winning streak. And I have a question for you. This version right now, have you seen Ellie De La Cruz or last year Julio Rodriguez? Who would you take?
Ooh,
Julio Rodriguez,
going-
keep in mind, is also a playoff.
I'm still going with
Yeah,
last
All-Star
year's
this year.
Julio Rodriguez.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was like definitively rookie of the year. The thing with rookie class this year, there's
I'm
a
not
bunch.
even forget
Yeah,
the rookie of the year.
I know,
because
but I'm just
we're gonna
saying
talk
player
about-
wise, I think I'll still take Julio Rodriguez.
Okay.
But I'm just saying in general, the rookie class this year is gonna be a tough one because you got Corbin Carroll.
Oh yeah, well, we'll get into that in a second.
You
but I'm
got
just saying
Corbin
as a player-
Carroll from the Diamondbacks.
So,
you got Josh Jung from
Let's go with
the
that
Rangers.
surprise, Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona, who's leading
Probably
a
the
division.
most win-win trade I've ever seen.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you have to give it a win-win because the reason why you brought Varsho in was for the defense, and it's
yes,
killing
it is helping, but I'm sorry, I cannot give Gabriel Marino for what Varsho has done for us so
Oh
far.
yeah,
He
but
is not worth
I'm still
Gabriel
giving it a
Marino.
win-win because if the Jays end up doing what
Yeah,
they're
like we
doing well-
benefited. I'm not saying we don't benefit from a trade. Like if we didn't have Varsho, we're in the worst
You
spot.
know me. I said Kirk should have been in that trade.
Yeah,
then
it shouldn't have been. But the fact that you put Gabriel Marino in that trade, obviously, is making me lean towards Arizona.
It also doesn't help when Lourdes Gurriel decides to step up when.
I mean, he's continuing. He's did this for us too, like batting wise.
But now he's been killer.
But he never really made All-Star. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not saying it's a win-win. I'm still giving it to Arizona Diamondbacks.
Okay, so those are the surprises. I want to go. Let's go disappointment just to switch it up.
All right,
You said yours slightly with the Phillies, but
but they're kind of bouncing back now.
11.5 games back though from first.
Yeah.
So they're more in the wild card side of things.
Yeah, which I think they will make.
Now the good thing is I'll talk about that in a second. But San Diego. For me, it's okay. The biggest disappointment overall, in my opinion, is the Mets with
Yeah.
how much money they spent.
Yeah.
But I thought the Padres would have, your version of Phillies. I thought the Padres would have been representing the NL, and they're 5 games below 500.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Phillies are over 500.
And you brought back Tatis this year as well.
Yeah, Ice Phillies are over 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they're disappointing. They're not playing up to par, especially when you add in Bogarts as well, and then Yohan Soto at the deadline last year.
Yeah.
Another team that I'm going with disappointment. Mets, obviously. Verlander.
Let's talk about the Mets quickly. They're the worst team in terms of expectation wise.
Oh yeah, because
They're 40 and 46. I mean, earlier I checked their third. They're 18 games.
Lindor
off
made
first.
All-Star, right?
Huh?
I don't know how Francisco Lindor did Lindor make All-Star.
I think he picked it up. But
Yeah, he's been struggling. He hasn't been great.
you
this year.
add in Justin Verlander. You have Max Scherzer. You have the richest owner in sports, I believe, in Steve Cohen. So
Yeah,
I don't know, but
no, they're not.
massive
They're definitely not.
disappointment.
Another disappointment for me, NL Central, is the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to win division.
so bad.
They've been absolutely horrible. AL wise, obviously you could
I'm gonna go with
Kind of put Blue Jays in there, but kind
I'm
of
not
not.
gonna really put the Blue Jays because they're also the hardest division in baseball.
But I'm going with
I'm going with
the Seattle Mariners.
exactly. I was about to say that.
Yeah, I don't
No
think.
one's talking about them, so that's how you know that they're not as relevant.
Yeah,
But
I think their main issue is offense.
everybody in the AL West had Houston number 1, Seattle number 2,
Yeah,
and then you could flip flop Rangers and Angels, and then it was the Athletics.
I would put Rangers
I had Rangers 1, and not 1, but I thought they were gonna be
good.
playoff
Yeah,
team
yeah.
good, right?
I
I
would
still
put
thought Astros were gonna be 1.
I would put Rangers. I would had Rangers at 3. I was like Astros, Mariners.
I had Rangers 2. I had Rangers at 2.
Yeah, but Rangers made good signings. Obviously, DeGrom injured
Yeah.
again, but
He's not
absolutely
even
killer.
the reason.
But
He's not the main reason. It's Nathan
because
Eovaldi.
the main one was Nathan Eovaldi, which I was
Yeah.
about to get to. But yeah, definitely Rangers for sure are a surprise team for 100%. Angels are in the same boat that they're always in.
Okay. So we brought up the Angels because we kind of have to talk about it.
Yeah, because
They have
Otani,
two of the best players in baseball.
who's injured.
Right.
Both of them are injured.
Both of them were injured. Rendon got injured as well. But
Yeah, so they're definitely.
here's my question for you. Otani, I was listening to Adnan Virk, someone I want to try to get on this pod, but
Yeah.
to talk some baseball.
Some dream.
But this is something I mentioned to you off the pod. Is something he said. This is also the worst time for the Angels to be good because you have the Otani contract lingering. Otani deserves probably 600 million, 300 for each thing he does, right? Batting and pitching alone, right? But he'll probably get like 550, 500, something like that, right?
Yeah,
Over
he's
10
gonna be
years.
he's gonna be richest man.
He's saying, and I do agree with him, but it's going to be tough because Angels are in the playoff hunt. You trade him. No matter what, you trade him. Because reports are he doesn't want to resign.
Yeah.
He wants to be a Dodger most likely because he wants to stay in LA. Dodgers didn't bring up anyone big in signing this year, right? They let Trey Turner go. They let, Josh Bell. Not Josh Bell. Who's the pitcher? Max Scherzer go. Max Scherzer.
Max Scherzer because they got
Yeah.
their deadline, and the previous year they let Seager go.
Yeah, so they're saying that you need to take out the value of Otani because if Otani walks, oh my god, he looks stupid.
Yeah, that like
Because he's like you're able to get 2 A plus caliber rookies or prospects, and you're able to net 2 fielding, like kind of like Juan Soto but more.
you can
Because
get
Juan
more,
Soto, you got a position player,
bro. Like for Otani, you could get like you're getting 2 number 1 prospects,
Yeah,
right? You could, depending on what the pipeline is for the team, it could be pitching, fielding, or whatever.
yeah,
Right, position player or 2 position players, whatever it is. You got 2 like core pieces coming up. Probably chucking another
2 rotational pieces that they have right now.
like currently playing.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah,
that's
and
what
then
I'm
you can even chuck in like so like
saying.
you're
And then a couple of B
it's
prospects.
like your 1
as
and 2 prospects are gone,
well. And then
right,
a
and
couple of B prospects.
but maybe like 5 and like 7, right?
knows, right?
And you're like top
You
10.
can fetch that.
in your
Research, and
club.
he also said send Rendon as well, like kind of like Josh
Yeah.
Bell and Soto,
And you're
actually,
like-
to get off the contract.
Yeah, so I'm saying like legit, you're getting your number 1 prospect on that club,
Yeah.
whoever the trade is. Number 2, probably number 4 or 5, and like a 7, 8, and maybe even a number 10. Like Loki, you could get 5 prospects just for him, and then chuck in a couple players as well.
If Otani leaves some way somehow, trade or walks, what does Mike Trout do?
I don't know.
Is it gonna be a Damon Lillard situation?
he's been there too long, and he's been in the same situation.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I really want to say
obviously
Mike Trout's the best player in baseball, but I can't anymore because
this
it's Shohei
is
Ohtani.
it's Shohei Ohtani, but like this was Mike Trout's best chance. So if
I mean,
that
it was
happened,
his best chance for the last
but
3
the thing
years.
is, yeah, but the thing is that no, because the Angels actually like gave him something,
Yeah.
right? Finally, but the thing is this, like Ohtani going for free is gonna be way worse than Mbappe. It's gonna be the worst. It's gonna be the worst decision of management is gonna make in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
If you manage to make Ohtani go for free, right? If you find a way to get either re-sign him or trade him away, good job. But if he goes for free and you get nothing out of probably the player that's going to give you the team's half prospect pool, like top 10 of the prospect, I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
If the moment he says, just say a little experiment, right? You go up him, you offer him a contract, he declines it. Once he declines that contract, I'm instantly trading. I don't.
So you're like, no matter what, trade him. I don't care if they're not.
If he doesn't
if
accept
they're
like,
comfortably in the playoffs. I mean, the trade deadline's August 1st. So
yeah, no, but I'm saying like if you like, if he doesn't accept the first one or the second one, especially after the second one,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, he's available for
It
trade.
was such a bad time for them to be in a playoff chase.
Yeah.
Now maybe this will help. Low-key blessing in disguise with the injuries, but holy crap, this will probably be the biggest. Like we thought the Kevin Durant trade was massive in season. This will be the biggest one ever in any
Yeah,
sport.
like
Probably.
it's it'd be absolutely insane.
But-
and it sucks because we're not gonna know the players until like 4 or 5
Exactly.
years down the line.
Yeah, but I was gonna ask you a question, but I'm gonna save it for Sunday's pod because we have a special pod for Sunday. If nothing major happens, but let's call it there. Actually, last question. Second half into the season, like looking into the second half of the baseball season. Jays, obviously, we're expecting them to be slightly better because the good news is the other teams aren't doing great as well. The Yankees, the Astros are underperforming. Everybody in the AL Central sucks
Yeah.
compared to the Jays record and stuff. Obviously, they could still catch up with the Orioles, right? I don't think they'll catch up with the Rays, but the Orioles even.
Yeah, Orioles literally
So
they could fall off for sure.
Jays in general, obviously they kind of perform in the second half. To be fair, for the last
They do
couple of
perform
years.
better in the second half. Like the June and May are like their struggle months,
But then they kill it like in
and then like
August, September
end of August
to end of
like September, right?
Yeah.
They usually have like their good runs.
Any other teams you're watching out for to see?
Honestly, one team I'm watching out for the deadline is the Chicago Cubs because their starting pitching was pretty good.
Marcus Stroman.
And Marcus Stroman is obviously the player that's going to be available because there's Justin Steele, who's been a very good pitcher for them. And then he's not getting traded, but like he definitely like performed. He's performing right here. Drew Smiley is like a little bit older,
Yeah.
but I'm not. He had a 4.1 ERA so far, but Marcus Stroman is the big one for me because he's at 2.76 ERA.
If I were to tell you these are the playoff teams in the NL, Atlanta you agree with,
Yeah, 100%.
LA Dodgers you agree with,
Yeah,
Phillies you agree with.
bro, I've seen it. I've seen the list right
I
now.
know. I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah, no. But yeah.
Arizona, Cincinnati, and Miami are your other three. Two of them being division leaders.
Yeah, Arizona and Cincinnati are leading the division.
Yeah.
Obviously, Milwaukee could take over,
Hey,
which I won't be
I hope
surprised.
Cincy make it. Joey Votto's last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was rumored to be a J maybe this year just for the sake of it, but not anymore probably. But
Yeah, I mean, Milwaukee could overtake
San
Cincy.
Francisco also.
San Francisco could obviously push for a playoff spot. But yeah, I mean, it's division because San Francisco's third in the NL West. They're only 3 games behind.
Yeah.
And then Brewers are like 2 games behind the Reds.
At the end of the day, the Dodgers are 1.5 game back of the Diamondbacks. And who knows what they do at the deadline. And then the Brewers are 2 behind the
Yeah, so
the
the
Reds.
only lock for a division win, and
Atlanta.
they clearly been the best team in the NL, is Atlanta Braves.
It's Atlanta, and then on the other side is probably the Rays.
Yeah.
Okay, let's call it there. Longer than we thought, but it was a good convo. Arguments were made.
Finally got
Rockets. But
Finally got some MLB talk.
yeah, we needed to get it in. But we thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We would love to hear your takes about the
Just everything.
winners and losers on everything.
Yeah.
Do you agree with Jobin about the or myself with the Rockets take? Anything else? NHL, soccer, MLB. Give us your UFC predictions if you guys are UFC fans.
Yeah, is it Volkanovski or Yair Rodriguez? That's the main event, obviously.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously other fights like Moreno and
Pantoja. All right. We're not starting one.
We're ending, bro.
We're ending. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Catch you in the next one.
We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.